Okay, guys, we're going to get started early today. We're going to get started. Let me lower the music. We'll dig into the charts. It's a good topic today. Give me about 2 seconds. This is London with the Crypto Kingdom. Let me turn down this music 1 second and get over to the charts. I hope you guys are having a great day. There we go. Just lower that a little bit. Now, we have kind of hit a crucial point in the market. You guys have done well today. Let me find the main chart page. We'll get through to this. It's not that. That's our day trading page. For those of you new to the station, guys, we do day trading. We are not afraid to take profits. We believe in the profit equation, which is buy low and sell high. Okay, buy low, sell high. That's the way we roll. So, looking at the markets, guys, we're gonna cover Dogecoin. We're gonna cover Bitcoin. We nailed Bitcoin today, guys. We absolutely nailed Bitcoin. So very good job. Let me go ahead and get this music a little further down. Let me get down into this. If you guys are familiar with the station, let me go ahead and say this first of all. Welcome to the subscribers, to the VIP members. I'm a former financial professional. It's a pleasure to have you here and to be able to interact with you on all things related to crypto, particularly the big ticket items. Okay, we focus on kind of the big stuff, a lot of stuff that Elon is involved in. We've been around for a minute in the space. We have not. We're not just Johnny-come-latelys at all. So we've had a good, I'd say a good team. Let me go ahead and say we have a very good team. I'm trying to find the residual of our music here that seems to be hiding from me. So let me say, there I got my music. Okay, great. With a little bit of technical issues. Let's dig into a few things today. And what we say is subscribe, turn on notifications. We promise you'll learn something. In terms of all the technicals, this is what we cover. I think we cover it better than any other station, and I'm just confident in that. We have the best group. Our top level of membership is the VIP section. You guys can join that. It is a kind of a pay service, and that's just what we enjoy. Essentially that's what a lot of people do enjoy. Our pricing targets, okay, some coin opportunities, some different. Different things. Got a little reverb there. Sorry about that. So I wanted to go ahead and start today because I didn't want to go through the big Well, I very much appreciate that. Very much appreciate that. Thank you very much. Very nicely put. And I will just say thank you for that. We have not had the opportunity to get to get on the air yet. So, Andrew, thank you for doing that. I had just waited for a moment to see exactly what would occur, and it looked like you were the first one to step in. Very interesting, Andrew. Very interesting. So we're currently looking at Dogecoin. I appreciate all of the VIP members. Your resolve to be here and kind of learn of what we're doing. It's been an interesting 24 to 48 hours, and we are currently in a situation. The question today is whether or not you'd like to buy or you'd like to sell. If you'd like to take profits or you'd like to go ahead and buy more. So that's something that we definitely want to look at today. And we have 2 dual microphones. So I guess someone else was getting the feed during that time. I'm glad that Andrew, you woke the crowd up, and it looks like we've got the feed coming into you now. So as we look at the circumstance, we have lined out the 1, 2, and the 3. Right, the 1, the 2, and the 3. Those are 3 indicated marks right now that we're looking at in terms of, kind of an expression technically that we would expect potentially Dogecoin to want to express itself to again. It's kind of I'd say a channel pattern, a measured move would be the technical term of it. We would hope that Doge can take off again. We've been accumulating Dogecoin. We've also been trading very heavily. So it's nice to see all of you here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. And sorry you weren't getting the mic, but it was very important for me that occurred, believe it or not. And that, Andrew, I appreciate you stepping in on a technical glitch like that. I do appreciate that. It'd be very, very interesting if I just sat here and wanted to receive some support from the community. I think that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. I think yesterday actually ended on someone giving me a $1 super chat. Thought that was an interesting way to receive something, a $1 super chat. So I don't know about something like that. Anyway, let's get back to the charts. I'm a former financial professional and a, former presidential advisor. And hope you guys are doing well and that life is good and that you're achieving trades and that you're successful in the market. I trust that you are having success with things like, I don't know, what was it, AMC, I guess, that we called off perfectly. Worked very well. I think we closed that out today at about a 40% gain. That was a nice move. Congratulations to those who achieved a 40% gain on any invested amounts. Not financial advice, of course, but I think that maybe that was a nice move, like perfectly on target, like not anyone else got that. And I know that there's a lot of, what do they call them? Apes. They call them apes, believe it or not. And I'm not a big, facilitator of apes or people who do not want to learn, right? That's never someone who doesn't want to intelligently, engage in discussions or something like that, or just wants to contravene market knowledge or anything else like that. That's not why I'm around. I always want facilitators, like intelligent people. Like Andrew's a very intelligent guy. He's a very intelligent guy, and very good trader. So we're happy to have Andrew around, definitely. He is a good guy. So also, let's see. AMP, I brought to you guys' attention today. I think that's moved up just a little bit since we brought it up. You guys are checking that out clearly. Doge just kind of holding steady. I wanted just to get out, some degree of a little short stream just to let people know that, like, is it time to take profits or not? I don't know. That's your decision to make. But I wanted you guys to have some sort of a live, some sort of a, something to kind of look at as you go throughout your busy days. To, yesterday I brought up the kind of these different scaled levels, right? You guys remember the different scaled levels? You can see those today on Bitcoin just completely kind of working themselves out. It looks like it's going to take a turn along this. We had scheduled up different tiers where I would want to typically or essentially become involved. Now, if this is going to behave itself essentially on a retracement, that may be a different story. That may be something nice to become involved in with limit order set, etc. But this is a circumstance where I would just say, Yeah, it's exactly precisely 100% on with our indicators. So that's very nice. It's very easy, right? It's not really difficult. I wanted to discuss that though in the context of like what's our green zone. My green zone is essentially going to be an area that I feel is the highest degree of probability once it gets there, and I will probably maximize my own personal investment in Bitcoin once it goes through a certain zone. That zone may be there, the zone may be here. Okay, the zone may be the entirety of this, or the zone may be there. But the ability for you to critically think, okay, not just rotely go through trade. The ability of you to critically think and engage in kind of technical analysis and look at the price function, look at the technicals in terms of the chart formations, etc. Look at the indicators like the RSI. Look at things like MACD. To look at these things that you guys all know about and to make determinations in terms of where you feel like things essentially. Excuse me, where things will maximize in terms of your profitability. Where does your probability come to the highest point possible in the entirety of this move, to where you may be frustrated because you're trading with a small amount of money, right? That may be something that you want to get through. Maybe you've traded and you've gotten 6 to 8 to 10 positive trades and things are now looking up and you're feeling a little bit more comfortable. You'd like to deploy some more cash. Well, the next round is probably you guys getting into some degree of, I'd say what would you say, kind of a risk analysis? If you wanted to call it like a risk analysis, yeah. I'd say that'd be kind of the next big move for you guys to make if you've already made, say, 10 or 15 trades. I know Jason was talking to us. He's made, 8 or 9 positive trades. Jason's lit. That's really nice. I know Marco started off, and hats off to Jason and to Marco. Marco made, I think 8 positive trades. That's a lot of credibility in my book. That's a lot of credibility. That's very good to both of those guys. Hats off. I think Lars has been doing well. Definitely. A lot of people have been doing well. I've been getting, notifications from people as they've wanted to interact personally, and that's been nice to be able to do. It's nice to see you guys interacting in the chat rooms. That's been positive. And if you guys have any questions at all, you're welcome to always bring those to me. So as we look at these situations with, I guess the similarities between, we discussed this yesterday, between how Doge appears like it's underperforming right now vis-a-vis or in comparison to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has maximized this channel. Bitcoin has kind of the 1, 2, 3, right? This one. Okay, essentially the primary hit probably here if you look in the candlesticks, but it has its 1, 2, 3, all right, to kind of write home about. Dogecoin does not necessarily have that right now. Dogecoin is kind of looking for that. It's waiting for that 3. So Dogecoin's been stuck here, which hasn't been wonderful. We've brought other opportunities to the plate, just in terms of this might be something to seriously look at in terms of whatever they may be. You guys have also brought those to the plate, so that's been nice to interact. That's one of the benefits of the community, and I'm very kind of very serious and adamant about it not being just another a frill kind of place or some sort of a, what would you call it, just like. It's not some place that just is not regulated mentally, at least, or professionally, at least, without any decorum or anything like that. It's a positive place, and we like to keep it within the standards in regards of professionalism, everything else. So that's how we kind of treat each other. Yeah, and for people who are who don't want to do that, that's okay. But that's the standard that we hold ourselves to. So looking at that, I think it kind of leads us to maybe a better level of intelligent thinking about our trades. It may not always be real comfortable to say, well, why don't we step this up professionally a little bit? It may not be real. Maybe that's not why everyone's in the market. Maybe they want to play around with just memes all day long or something else like that. But if you're dealing with heavy amounts of money, you don't mind it, and it's that's just the truth. So I appreciate you guys being here today. Definitely, I do appreciate that, and you guys know that very much so. So as we look at like this, the 1, the 2, and then where's the third? Where are we on the third leg here? That's what we want to know. That's what's frustrating. Okay, that's where the emotions enter into things. As we look at it's just real simple to look at Bitcoin having achieved that. Well, it's got the 1, 2, 3. Kind of at least the 1, 2, 3. So in terms of trade potential right now on the year, Bitcoin has not been okay. It has not been the 100x that Dogecoin has been, but recently it's kind of outperforming. So we would start to I don't know, maybe get emotionally driven by that fact that it's like, well, they're outperforming. One thing about you guys, I don't think that you're going to be left out in the cold in terms of not getting on board with another trade. So that's a nice component of the group that we have. And again, the individuals that are able to to express themselves kind of in terms of intellect, et cetera. And what we do in terms of it, I just mean being able to do kind of derivative analysis, being able to do kind of a correlative analysis, looking at what's moving in which directions. If we're able to express things kind of solidly, and I say intellectually, someone wrote that to me actually today in the I've mentioned that a few times. I don't mean it demeaning. Someone wrote that to me today. I think Angel wrote that to me today in the DM chat. So so I hadn't heard that terminology in a while. So it was nice to hear that from Angel. And Angel is just a great guy. He's on the top right, and he's done a real solid job of supporting things. I look forward. I think I've got a little powwow with him. He wants to chit chat later, so I look forward to that. Angel, hope you're doing well, and I hope you enjoyed your fantastic drive with the family. I think that's what's going on today. So that's very nice. It's nice to see people that are doing well in the market, and you can you just know they're doing well. That's the key. So what we're waiting on is that number 3. In terms of taking profits, I want to bring that up in the context of where we're at on Doge. We have to bring that up in the context of where we're at on Doge, because we have a circumstance where if you look at the fact we haven't achieved up to this number 3, when I talk about a correlative analysis, or I talk about some degree of a derivative analysis, right? I want to know like a hedge theory, right? What does hedge have to do with something? Well, if we're going to hedge our risks, okay? If we're going to bet one way because things might move the other, okay? If we can put it in real simple terminology. I don't want to get into positive, negative correlation. Do they move the same direction at the same time, or do they move opposite directions? Okay, we have identified one, I'd say, that potentially looks like it may be able to move in the opposite direction. I think that's positive. TFUEL. Okay, TFUEL looks like it may be able to accomplish something for us in terms of moving in the opposite direction. I like that quite a bit. Why? Because now you have an example of something peppered in very lightly at the top, if at all. You guys know that. In terms of it moving, it's down 7% right now. Okay, well, why is that positive? Because to be able to understand risk mitigation and diversification, you have to be able to get involved in something or to appreciate something that's negatively correlated, something that moves in the opposite direction. Okay, you have to be able to say, well, we're up today. Well, I'm going to put my money in something else that's going to go up today. No, if you want to diversify, true diversification involves you putting your money somewhere that's either stable or going down. Okay, so you're going to balance your portfolio that way. So we've identified TFUEL, okay, which is down 7%, which is still near an all-time high, guys. Still rocking and rolling in terms of its pricing. Okay, but it seems to be, it potentially has the ability to operate as operate as a hedge against the entirety of the market. It certainly was doing that, and it has been doing that in its run up recently. So it's nice to see that expression today. That's 254%. That's a nice run. Okay, so it's just as we look at Bitcoin, the fact that it may be negatively correlated, like TFUEL's down 7% while Bitcoin's up, Dogecoin's up, etc. I like the fact that we have honed in on something which may operate, I'd say, contrary to the market. Not that we would say like hedge, we're going to throw options on it. Not to that extent, but something that we're able to say, yes, it's actually a real diversification of our portfolio, right? It's actually a real diversification of our portfolio. Why? Because when we are, in terms of risk, if we put all of our cash, okay, we decide we put all of our holdings, our assets, they're all involved in things that are going to move the same direction at the same time. Okay, well, I'm going to further diversify. I'm going to put it even in another, instrument or another asset, which is going to move in the same direction at the same time. If my assets go up, I'm going to put it in something else that's going to go up along with my assets. Okay, well, that's not diversification. That's not lowering your risk at all. In fact, that's just multiplying your risk, essentially. Yeah, I'd say in theory it's multiplying to a degree. It's compounding. I'd say it's adding to your risk. That's not the idea. When you want to diversify your portfolio, you want to get involved with investment instruments, okay, that are negatively correlated. One moves one way, one moves the other way. Like TFUEL's moving one way, well, Bitcoin might move the other way. How heavily are you involved right now in TFUEL versus Bitcoin? Well, you might be lightly involved in TFUEL right now. Isn't that interesting? You might be lightly involved in TFUEL right now while it's going down to hit some additional Fibonacci levels. And what might be up right now that you could have been just more heavily involved in? Well, you could have just been more heavily involved in something like Bitcoin. And maybe you just pulled a trigger to take some profits, and now you're waiting potentially if this were to go let's say if Bitcoin were to move the opposite direction and go down, what if TFUEL decides to pick back up after you have already accumulated it at a heavier level? You see what I'm saying? That's a perfect function of diversification. If you look at that equation right there, that's a perfect example of diversification. That's an excellent example to have walked through the last 24 to 48 hours here. That's not just a standardized, hype machine that we think, well, such and X, Y, or, coin X, Y, or Z just looks fantastic. It's going to do so great. We just know it is. Irrespective of the rest of the market, irrespective of any kind of correlative analytics that we're going to put together, or any kind of, risk diversification measures, whatever we're going to put together. So I like that fact. I hope that you guys can appreciate that in terms of the nature of a diversification. Harmony One was a coin that really represented. I'd say at the incipiency of Harmony One, it really represented kind of a negative correlation with Bitcoin. Okay, so that's what we really appreciated about Harmony One. And even the management team at Harmony One has stated, just so that we know, because not everyone probably knows this, or even the management team at Harmony One stated that they were involved with, derivative risk measure? Derivative risk measure, measurable interest? I think interest or instruments. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that. In fact, I'll make a note of it. But I know that I've kind of fallen off. I used to be in direct contact with some of the management team of Harmony One. I've kind of fallen off from that for certain reasons, for specified, reasons. And that's nothing bad on their behalf or mine. It's just I made the choice to kind of get away from Harmony One and the management team. Just in terms of interaction with them, I just chose to do that. So, in terms of for various reasons that I won't express here, in terms of the nature of it, in terms of pure price action, though, it did accomplish an inverse correlation with the movement of Bitcoin. That's something that we really appreciated. Okay, during this run-up that Harmony One had of a 20x, very nice price movement. A lot of people learned about technical analysis and learned that I'm the guy up at top telling everybody who just made 20x, guys, that you need to maintain your cash where? Heavy on the downside. And I've talked to so many people that have been around in the channel, et cetera, that literally listened to all those videos and literally never put their cash on the downside. I'm like, what were we doing? What were we trading? Well, we were just listening. We were just listening so that we could see the price go up. That doesn't do you a lot of good when you're down, let's see, if you're down, the entirety of it, you're down 65%, 100 grand turns into 35 grand again. Like, so when I say things, up front here, I've said about, most investments, cash heavy on the downside. There's a reason I'm saying that. There's a reason I talk about things like, I'd say, things, just basic principles, like if we're going to talk about a correlation, right? If we're going to talk about whether or not things are moving in tandem, right? It's real easy. Excuse me on that. As we look at this, just whether or not things are moving in parallel, right? That would be this would be an example, and not to deal with the line chart. This would be the pricing chart behind. This would be something that's positively correlated, right? If something's negatively correlated, something's going to be going up while something else is going to be going down. It's going to be going up while something else is going to be going down. Right? That's just a kind of the counterflow. If you find a counterflow, that's negative correlation. Okay, so that's what we look at. Harmony One looks like it. If it could come down, any further to its 78.6, that'd be nice to see. I just have to say that it's a low level. You don't want to say that, but it's already at. When we look right now, and this is the same discussion, I'm bringing this up in the context of Dogecoin right now, not to scare anyone, not to have any discussions, other than the fact that if things decide to go to another level, well, why would they do that? Well, Harmony One's currently just parked in its, for the 1, 2, 3, 4th time, it's parked in its multiple times, more than that actually. I think it's on its 6th time in the golden pocket. It's been a great thing to trade. You guys have made a ton of money trading this from the Golden Pocket. That community's done very well. I've trained a lot of them individually on, and collectively, I'll say on Fibonacci's. You've had 6 hits in your 6 hits in your Golden Pocket. So for the group that we spent that much time on Harmony One, kind of teaching Fibonacci's, you guys have done well. Congratulations on that. And in terms of the the lower level here, well, what could get it there? At this point, would it break? Where's the threshold? Kind of the cut loose point here. When could it break? Or what does this really mean that Bitcoin is potentially breaking out? Is potentially not breaking out? How do we read this into the rest of our investments? Long-winded approach to saying, should you buy more or should you sell? Right? The answer is probably both, right? Should you buy more or should you sell, right? Should you take profits? You should definitely take profits, and you should probably buy more. Where should you buy more? At lower prices, right? That's kind of once you've gone through anything positive like this, that's kind of that's the equation of profit expressing itself in your portfolio. Right, and everyone wants to say, well, it's just gone up. Can it continue to go up? Of course it can. Right, absolutely. I mean, anything can happen. Can it reverse the trend? Of course it can, right? I even have a zone here in green that I'm ready to kind of target into, right? So it's not that I'm not avoiding this at all, but I am looking at the fact that we've been up in this zone 1, 2, 3 times. Just like Doge, we want to accomplish that, right? We want to get to Doge, and we want it to get back up there for the 3rd time, right? It's kind of underperformed. We want it to be able to get up here and give us another kind of boost of, I'd say, 40 to 50%. We want to see that. This 1, 2, 3 times it's decided to, from this first area here, right, to the next area, like right in here, to the next. We'd like to see that accomplish itself. What do we have as a guidepost? Well, we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin's done that. Okay, so as we look at that, it's Bitcoin has been and fulfilled the entirety of this measure. It's also caved on down through. And I mean, it's really provided a lot of price action to people who traded it. A lot of people, hats off to Andrew. I know Andrew has traded this somewhat heavily. So nice job to Andrew. I like to hear when you cut things loose. I think it's great for the group to hear about your trades. It's just nice. You're doing a great job, and it's it's nice. It's just nice. It's nice to see Andrew just saying, I just took some profit, right? And he's definitely capable of doing that. I mean, he does it all the time. So it's nice to see how you do that. So when we look at this, what's the fallout? The potential for fallout is a regression, I'd say, or a retracement down into this level. Okay, just a normal expression of this channel. If it has not really broken out, it's not going to continue to the upside. If it can, that'd be phenomenal, guys. We might look at everything as if it were going to go up. I spoke with someone today, and they're just convinced. They're like, man, everything is so undervalued right now. Just the values are so they're so low, right? Everything's so cheap. It's like there's so much more value in these coins. That's really great for me to hear that, right? It's really, really great to hear that expressed through excuse me about that, through the community. So it's not that I don't believe that at all, but my job, me personally, like what I do, it's not a job. I enjoy doing it, but it's what I enjoy doing is kind of preparing on both sides. If it goes up, if the price goes up, great. I want to be prepared for it. If the price goes down, great. I want to be prepared for it. And I will be prepared on the upside and on the downside, right? Just always, I will be. That's just it. Why? My strategy is I will always have reserve cash. That's not just necessarily my financial position allows me to have excess amounts of cash on the downside to deploy, okay? I believe that's a conscious decision irrespective of your cash position. I believe that's a conscious decision. I just really do. Whether or not you have $500 or 500 pounds, euros, francs, etc., whatever you're into, yuan, whatever that is, I believe you have the decision to maintain cash at a lower level, ready to deploy. I almost know you do. If you're invested, you can take a percentage of that and maintain it and then deploy it at a lower level if it decides to go down there, right? Now, in terms of a great investment, it's such a great investment, I have to put all my money into it. Well, okay, you can, but a great investment, typically you can put 10% of your money into it. I say this all the time, I repeat it. You can put 10% of your money into it, and it'll give you the other 90%. You don't have to put the entire 100%, guys. You just don't have to do that. So, that's kind of how we look at things, guys. It doesn't require a full, kind of a full liquidation, everything going into it. We don't have to get into that. We don't have to push all of our cash. So we don't have to do that on the aggregate, I'd say overall, if we don't have to say, Well, it's such a great investment, we're going to put all of our money into it. Well, then, is it such a great price we have to put all our cash into it, even what we're going to invest in? Well, maybe not. Why? Because, maybe it's going to decide to go down. I don't know. Or at least not if it doesn't want to retrace. Now, it hasn't even hit its golden pocket, right? Bitcoin hasn't even hit its golden pocket. Now, why am I talking about Bitcoin so much? This is a Dogecoin show. Well, if Bitcoin decides to move down through this channel, okay, if it decides to do that, what's going to be the fallout? Well, I guess Dogecoin has a few different options, okay? It could either counter-indicate if Bitcoin decides to move down into, into let's say, just to express itself within this channel again. It's already done it, multiple times, guys. Really, as we really uncover this level in here, right? This is kind of the hidden level on my EMA bands. And you really have to expand it, right? So it's really done it once, right? And we'd have to look at the candlesticks here. Yeah, it's done it once. It gets down into here. It gets down into here too. So it's done. It's gone down from this level how many times? Once. It's down here on the candlesticks, guys. This is Bitcoin. It's gone down once. It's gone down. Let's see. Let's start that as 1. Then we have 2. Then we have 3. Now we have potentially it's over. Okay, but it's already done that 3 times. Okay, literally 3 times. 1, it's gone down. 2, it's gone down. Essentially 1, 2, 3. I don't know if we're gonna if we get into the different period movements in between, kind of the subtleties therein. There's more than that, right? So we've got this kind of latent underperforming. That was kind of a scary moment for it because it could have gone down. A lot of people worried about losing money. You're not worried if you have extra cash to deploy, but it's already done this multiple times, guys. I mean, if we're going to do this one more time here, it's just the question is going to be, how's that going to affect the rest of your portfolio? It's already done it multiple times, right? But this time's a reversal. Well, I'll tell you guys, every time, this time, it was a reversal. This time, it was a reversal. This time, we started getting excited. Okay, something's going to happen. But it's just been, and this is kind of clouded up. Technically, is it part of this overall move to the downside? It could be. Before you essentially establish, you're going to get into an argument whether or not you're going to look at the line chart versus use your candles versus what kind of formation you're in. I don't want to really necessarily have that discussion, or it's not an argument, but that discussion. But if you're looking at, we did bounce back up from something. That was a real aggressive move to just count it as kind of organized channel behavior. I'll say that, okay? It was a real aggressive move. This is the consolidation after that move. So as we look at this, though, it drop on down. There's 1. Did drop on down. There's 2. Did drop on down. There's 3. And, we're right here again. We're not even, guys, we're not even above yet this previous this first level. And there's some room in between these 2 levels. There's still, a percentage to go. There's still 5% off from this original level right here. Okay, so that's important for us to look at in terms of the behavior and the probabilities. What do the probabilities say right now? Well, people we're going to get caught up on, but we have an interim, kind of a high and then a higher high. That's right, and we have kind of what could be kind of high, like a higher low. We could reestablish things here. We certainly could. Right? If the money's there, it's going to happen. If the demand is there, it's going to happen. Otherwise, I just, in terms of me preparing myself and you guys preparing yourself for the entirety of a move to the upside or the downside, look at the fact this has happened. This would be the 4th time that this has done that, and taking the move to that level within the last month. Okay, I'm not going to be surprised if it does that. Right? I'm ready for that fallout if it occurs. Not just on Bitcoin. Right, not just on Bitcoin, but on, say, on Dogecoin, right? Because Doge is correlated to a degree. It likes to move on its own, and the fact that Doge could just pop up at any point in time and decide to deliver another 10x, that's nice. That's something I like. It's done that twice thus far this year. So yeah, I think I like the fact that I'd like to pay attention to it. It's just interesting, right? Yeah, it's very interesting. So I'm glad to have you guys here. Look at the heart on the right-hand side. If you're new to the stream, go ahead and hit that, and we'll try and cover the information. Hit the like button. We'll try and cover the information for the beginning of the stream. We appreciate you guys being here. We're covering technical analytics on Dogecoin and talk about in the overall, kind of the broader context of the market, right? Just the broader context of the market. So as we look at, is it possible for Doge to go on up and fulfill this channel again? It's done it. it's done it multiple times. I'll just say multiple times. It's already completed that move. So we would like to see it. It's kind of just it's what's called a measured move. Okay, that's that's the master's degree level terminology for it in terms of real real education. It's a measured move. That's what they will call it. Anything within a channel, okay, is going to be called a measured move. So that's Doge has the opportunity to complete another measured move to the upside. Okay, in it to the extent that it's going to be correlated with Bitcoin right now, there may be a risk that needs to be addressed, right? Just real easily stated, there may be a risk that needs to be addressed. Why is that? Because if it is correlated, meaning it's going to move in the same direction as Bitcoin, now it has not recently, and it did not. If you'll recall, when Dogecoin broke out of this kind of this descending triangle, when we went live for a period 6 or 7 hours, we went live, preceding this, getting essentially doing an accumulation party with Doge, right? Yeah, we went live on that to accumulate during that phase. Correct. And then it went up. It had a nice move, kind of to the upside. That was nice. So when we look at the price movement, we've been there. So we're very familiar with the price action. That's one of the benefits of trading something continually, right? We understand the price action. As we look at the potential that Bitcoin could drop from its own channel, right? And I've gone laterally with these. Most people have gone triangulation. I've gone laterally. I've been laterally for a while in the background as I've looked at the daily charts. I believe they express themselves a little bit better in the daily, okay? And it kind of keeps me away from the noise. Everyone else is interested in the residual of the triangulations. I'm interested in the channel formations, guys. It's what I'm interested in. It seems to express itself much more, I'd say, much more accurately as a channel right now. So this consolidation is very consistent. It should be a continuation pattern to the downside. Okay, and the odds would favor Bitcoin going down to its next levels. Okay, it would favor the 22,000 to the 24,000, just for starters. Why? Because that's its golden pocket, right? So it would favor getting down to that level. Can it? I don't know. Why would I say can it? Because it's kind of an essential level for growth. So it's as we look at this measured move in this channel, okay, we have consistent highs along the line of resistance. We have consistent lows, right, along kind of a level of support. If we're going to touch back down to this level of support, and not just break out. And guys, I love the idea of a breakout of the overall market. I am a huge fan of it. I have a green zone right here, ready to target up and take heavy participation in it. All right? So I'm ready to do that. But the issue is I'm also ready for it to move back down where it's already moved. 1, 2, 3. It would be the fourth time it's done that. So yes, it's expressing itself positively in terms of the direction of the market, but I'm ready for this move down. And as I'm ready for this move down and we deal with something like Doge, which has a lot of potential, I think it could be very good news if Doge wants to correlate. Now, people who hold, okay, they're going to say, well, that's not nice. That's not what we want. You're never going to get our support if you think it would be good for it to go down. Well, I know a lot of people that want to buy it at lower levels. So I don't know how to really express it. I think it would be good for them to get their orders in. Do I think it'd be great for Doge to go up right now? Absolutely. Do I have a position in Dogecoin? Absolutely. Would I like to make more cash right now too with you? Absolutely. Zero question. I just know people that have heavier amounts of money at the lower levels. Okay, now I guess the question we would get to as we talk about Bitcoin has not, as we get into a little bit of the textbook analytics of it, right? As Bitcoin has not reached yet its golden pocket. It's 61.8 to the 65th percentile. Retracement, the golden ratio that's required. Where is Dogecoin on the retracement? That would be maybe the first step in the analytics that we want to take a look at, right? Let's go through the analysis. Where is Dogecoin in terms of the overall analytics? Let's bring that up. Okay. Now, aside from the channels, everything else, and aside from these formations, let's really decide. Let's draw out. Okay, great. That's a good question. Where is Doge? If we know that Bitcoin has not hit its golden pocket on retracement, right? then, and I heard some guys, this David Gherkin or whoever it is, and some other dudes giving some flack, right? We've a lot of haters. There's haters everywhere. I don't know what's going on, but just a lot of infighting. I'm telling everyone be positive, and then I'm waking up like, we got to deal with such and such. So let's all try and have a grain of salt. It's like we're in the middle of retracement, right? It's just happening. It is what it is. We're working on our pricing targets. So you guys are doing a good job. So as we look at this, the guys are just cursing out Elon and everything else. Like, just tension everywhere. It's all right. It's all right. So as we look at, the question is Dogecoin, is it already in its golden pocket? Yes. Okay, so that's an important thing, because I'm going to say it's a critical zone to touch on, right? To accomplish that, it's accomplished that. With that said, the backup zone is going to be 78.6, going to be 15 and about 4/10 cents. So I'm ready for this level. I would really, honestly, personally, I have to say this, I would really rather personally it not go down to 15 and 4/10 cents. I think it would show a lot more strength if it can just hit its golden pocket and go on up. All right. If we look at the candlesticks, we have not hit the 78.6. I believe that for the market, it would be nice to see Dogecoin. This is just what I believe it would be nice to see, in spite of the fact that people have big orders, in spite of the fact that I'll put I'll put you. I'm not going to discuss my own orders. But in terms of the money that's waiting down below, it's a heavier amount of cash. It's going to move. It's going to be a great trade if people get into the 15 and 4/10 cents. I would prefer not to see that happen. For the market and for everyone involved in the market, I'd prefer to see it go up. That's my personal preference on it, which I rarely state my personal preference, but I'd like to see it move up from here. Okay, in spite of the fact that I know people in this channel, et cetera, and this is not like the day traders extraordinaire, right? This is just kind of me for the overall well-being of this, and really, I guess I'm balancing the ability of us to continue to trade it. And I would also hope, if it does not go down, that it begins to, I'd say, operate in terms of having a bit more price action. It's been okay because it's been slow enough to allow people just to book a positive trade. It's been exactly what we've needed. It's been very nice, right? It's been slow going. It's been kind of forgiving. It hasn't been brutal. It hasn't been violently shifting backwards or forwards. Up. Just the volatility's been it's expressed itself very kindly for people who've been learning. That's awesome. Right, and I'd say people who are learning are also people who may be day trading and they'd like to get some sleep, right? It's been about like that. Some people are involved in, heavy kind of flash trades. That's all right. We can get involved in kind of the quick and the I don't know if you guys know what flash trades are, but down to the slow kind of rolling investment instruments that just take years to develop and are relaxed, to kind of a T-bill for a 30-year T-bill. Yeah, we got a treasury bond, 30-year treasury bond. Yeah, okay. That's kind of boring, right? You can definitely trade those as well, but looking into Doge, it's been kind of that kind of, I don't know, somewhat kind of peaceful kind of forgiving kind of giant recently, and it is a giant. It's up there in the top 10. It is what it is, but it's kind of behaving like a giant. It's been nice for us to be able to trade it. It's been nice for me to be able to see you guys lock in your trades. That's the best part of my day, when someone tells me I've locked in positive trades. It just is, guys. It's really the best part of my day, when you guys are telling me that you're booking positive trades, because you don't really know how that sounds, but people don't necessarily say that. So, people who are involved in kind of a hype machine, they don't always say, well, this is, we want Doge to go to $1. It's going to $1. Okay, Elon tomorrow can probably facilitate that, and, with a handshake or a phone call or a text message to someone, guys. That's not, and if we want to sit around and get excited about that, that's great. I mean, I do get excited about that. I'm very happy that can occur. I've been around, around this, this industry for a minute. I understand that trading, et cetera. And I try not to be emotional, right? I try not to even really express normally, like, I want to say, well, I would prefer to go up from here, right? And that's weird that's a big thing for me to say. I guess I'm so covered on the downside of things. Typically, and it's not like, well, wow, he can barely say he wants it to go up. No, I do want it to go up. I always want it to go up when you guys are doing well. It's just the question is, right now the question is this, okay? And I'm couching that in the framework of if it is positively correlated with Bitcoin right now, and please listen, okay, if it's positively correlated with Bitcoin right now, from this point henceforth, and Bitcoin decides to move down in its channel, then we're going down to 15 and 4/10. Okay? If it's positively correlated, and if it shows, essentially, I'd say, if it shows the same degree of movement, right? It's going to have to show the same degree of movement. That's one where Dogecoin has been doing very well. That's one period. That's one aspect where we could appreciate the fact, or not appreciate it. This is where we get to. Is it going to move? Is it not going to move? We've got other things that are moving, I'll tell you that. But as we look at Doge, it's like it's been such a slow kind of crawling, if you want to call it a giant, it's just been acting like one. Not so much through this previous breakout, but we couldn't get that next leg to the upside. We just couldn't get it. So Doge has a habit of making people wait. It just does. It attracts a certain type of trader that's willing to engage in that level of discipline, of patience. So that's okay for us as we're setting up pricing targets. That takes time to do. Some people are very quick with it. Some people, some people it's just a few clicks of the button and it's done. Other people, it may take a while to do the calculations to get the pricing targets. It's nice that we're able to do well in the pricing targets, and you guys understand the technique, and definitely the technology involved. But the technique it's so straightforward, guys. It's just it's really easy. So it's nice to see you guys booking positive trades. In terms, I just want to talk about real quickly, guys, you'll hear all over the news. You'll hear all over everywhere. AMC, right? What is AMC? Movie theater company, right? So that's, AMC has been a big investment for a lot of people. It's been something that a lot of people have become ideologically attached to it. We're not attached to it, not at all. This right here, this green circle, okay, that was our target. That was our pricing target. All right, and what happened? Well, we struck it perfectly, all right? We had some advance notice, and gave it out, and bam, we hit it 40% today, right? I sent out a tweet and said, I think it'd be a great idea at 40%. Why? Because it looks like it's going to go through a consolidation, right? And it was on the top side of the consolidation. So I thought, well, it seems like it'd be a great time to kind of cut this loose, right? And you can, probably save just a little bit of cash, right? So if you look at that, the measure, guys, if you say 5-10%, whatever you got on the candlesticks, et cetera, wherever you were at. But it did, we sent that tweet out, and it looks like it did just move to the downside. That's okay. I'd say it, in terms of its formation, there's no reason you can't just, pick it back up again and cover yourself. You lock in that 40%. I think that's great. Not financial advice, just I hope it's financially accurate. I'll tell you that. It's like, the pricing of something. What's the pricing? Well, it's right at $57 flat. That is financially accurate information. If it's not, I'm in some trouble, right? I need to look at at who's giving me the pricing. So that's where we're at. Let's take a look at anything else, so we can go through a few different options. Today, it looks like, I think AMP was doing well. That was an interesting one to kind of look at. I brought that today to the attention of the group, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I think I did. Around about the area of right here. And just to kind of take a look at it, I think it was doing really well. And I was like, you guys are paying attention, right? I think it was right in this area. Yeah, around this area, just like you guys are paying attention to what this is trying to act like it's trying to do, right? And you'll see like AMP is just crossing through the threshold of a new high, right? So that's really nice, right? That's really, really nice. And I think you guys can get that on the new, what would we say, with the new the Gate.io. The Gate is a new exchange which has a lot of different coins on it, guys. Part of the perks of VIP is getting access to different parts of technology, right? So yeah, it's different information that not everyone's talking about or not everyone's doing. We try and stay advanced and ahead of the curve. All right, I'm constantly trying to pull out different opportunities, coins, price action, movement, etc. Something like AMC, clearly it's like, that's a target strike, that's easy. Something like AMP is kind of going on, and to the extent it makes sense to start focusing on it for you. The technique, kind of peppering in at the top with maybe some Fibonacci's below. So it's nice to see that. I'm glad that I brought that to you guys before. I think you've maybe you had about 10% on that, just if you wanted to look at that between then and now. So that's nice. In terms of the VIP, it's nice to have you guys. Let's see what we have So Bitcoin is the big story, that correlative analysis. I almost forgot about Matic. We have to look at Matic, don't we? I mean, that's an absolute must. We have to look at Matic. I'd say we definitely have to look at Matic. Let's do that, and then let's get back into the Bitcoin and Doge, because Matic is one that was our first 3.5x. That was really nice in the group, and it has that much price action positively. Whether or not you made it, it was just it was a great foundation to learn on, wasn't it? Because you really couldn't lose, and if you were losing on it, it's kind of like, well, maybe you need to really scale back on the rest of everything else that's going on, because this thing just went through 3.5x, right? So it was in terms of positive price action. So, and let's see, the TFUEL. Where is Matic? Come here, Matic. Come here. There we go, Matic. Very nice. Now, Matic looks like it could be trying to kind of break out of something. Kind of a frustrated, I'd say, paradigm here in terms of what Matic is involved in. This is just very typical of Matic. It's very typical in terms of these long, kind of extended formations. This is Matic that Mark Cuban's a fan of, right? So it's got some real application. I think Mark Cuban uses this quite a bit. He's very into the technology. He enjoys it. We like the story and the dev team. Always looking for that management team, the dev group, and the utility. So Matic seems to have all of those. Just an incredible price action that had, as we look at it, guys, they did essentially provided our group with a 3.5x. Just really a phenomenal story. Now it's looking like it's trying to break out of a wedge, which is nice. Technically speaking, that's what it's trying to accomplish right now. It would be great to see Matic really step up and start to lead the group. Again, it has that ability. Every day it's like we're seeing one or two jump up in terms of alts that are jumping up. And they are, essentially they are, like your AMP. I think Keep did a little bit ago. TFUEL has done it. The key is to keep an eye on those, because they have good pricing action, right? They have really good pricing action. For some reason, ADA, I'm getting a kind of an inkling of an idea that we need to look at Cardano. Real similar. It looks real similar to me. I'm not sure it's on the same time frame, but Cardano looks like it's kind of going through its own, own extended move here, and it's trying to kind of break out from that. Now, you don't always draw channels like this. If it's not a bull flag, it's not a bull flag, right? It broke its bull flag like way up here. I'd always prefer to look at flags, bearish and bullish flags, something like that, which has a breakout. Because when you deal in channels, we start to forget Fibonacci's, right? And that's, I won't say that's a dangerous thing, but we get away from our pricing targets. We just start going into and that can be really dangerous on the upside, guys. When you start dealing with channels instead of chart formations, you can it can be something that you start to you lose contact with the essentials of kind of wave theory, the essentials of pricing dynamics. And I don't like to see that, because sometimes people will throw too much cash into something, saying, well, there's just no chance it can go down. Look at this. It's continually going up. We all recognize, a positive channel when we see one. But if we don't put it in the context of retracement, you can just see it can be absolutely brutal. So that's always why I'm kind of hesitant to rely on channels too much, unless they're part of a continuation pattern. If they're part of a continuation pattern, then I definitely, see a lot of utility in them. And the utility is essentially telling you which direction it's going to go into, and if you can identify the break out of the break, the break up or the breakdown zone as well, that's phenomenal. I just want to say thank you to all of you that are here. I see Mark Riccozzi is in the house. I see a lot of people that are just doing well. Hitman in the house. What's up? Shannon, good to see you, Shannon. I legitimately have not seen you for a minute, so it's nice to see you. Andrew's here. Yeah, Shannon, everyone. Yeah, Lars, of course. So, yeah, I just looked over at the other screen, and Mars in the house. So nice to be Hyatt CEO. What's up? What's up? What's up? Very nice to see you. And we probably have some other names in the beginning that I wasn't able to. No Torque STI was in the house. I hope he still is. What's up, Torque? Unknown subject in the house. Very, very, very nice. So, yeah, we had... Let's see. We had a few different coins that people brought up, and I really like to see this, guys. You in the chats, in the group, you brought up your own coins, a few of them. And you're saying, well, what about this one? London, what do you think about this? Do you think we should bring it to the group? And it's always a good check for us to run things by each other, initially because, well, it's like, oh, have you looked at this on the entirety of it? Have you looked at it on the 5-year time frame? It's like, ooh, you really got to look at this on the 5-year time frame, right? Some of these other coins, it's like, well, it tells a completely different story if you look at it on the 5-year time frame, right? Like Cardano. I just love bringing this up. It has been, because it's the truth, right? No one knows it. Cardano, in and around the time of like 2018, was at $1.50, right? Ballpark about $1.40. Then, and after 2018, guys, it went down to 2 cents. I am not kidding you. You want to talk about a difficult year? I mean, can you imagine? Well, we had $200,000 in Cardano at 140. We bought it at $1.40. You might as well have bought it at $140. But yeah, with Cardano at $1.40 and it went down to 2 cents. All right. Well, yeah, you want to talk about diamond hands. Yeah, you guys go for a couple-year period of time and wait for it to go back up over 140. That's diamond hands. This other stuff, day to day, month, week to week, everyone's screaming, we have to hold. I mean, come on, guys. People who bought in 2018 in Cardano with a sizable position, okay, they bought in at $1.40. It went to 2 cents, and every one of you right now would be like, that'd be a great time to buy some more, wouldn't it? Right? So that's what we do here in the channel. That's what we focus on. Like the strategy is, except the only thing we leave out, we just don't hold it between $1.40 and 2 cents. We just don't do that. Now, would it possibly ever, would it, you'd say, would it go down to 2 cents again? I don't know, guys. It might. But the overall nature of the fact that some of these coins have been up to plausibly, I don't know, nearby levels, right? Kind of a nearby level, $1.40 in 2018. Now it's, currently it's about $1.56. Could it go to 2 cents? I don't want it to go to 2 cents, guys, unless it does, and unless I can throw 2 cents to two. Guys, you would have. You're looking at 100x. All right, because Dogecoin this year has the 100x title, period, right? Yeah. However, listen to this. This is important, guys, because we don't know this. We don't give credit to them. ADA, because I'm not one of quote-unquote them, right? I'm not. But I've come to appreciate their culture because some of them got in at 2 cents, right? Now, some people in Doge got in at 0007. So you can the more we backdate this, is going to be an interesting conversation. This year, we can say this year. Let's just go ahead and look at January because it was at 20, so it's only a 10, only a 10x. No thanks. Huh? You're gonna have to keep digging Cardano, but it's in the hunt, right? It seems like it's in the hunt, right? But the pricing action is unbelievable. If you had the option, and I'm just gonna say this: imagine you're comfortable and well off. Imagine you're living life and you're having fun. Imagine this is fun for you, and you're like, well, I'm gonna trade this year. I don't know. I want to pick this stuff up at 2 cents. Right? Imagine your life doesn't depend on trading. We don't. Anytime you get involved in things with the market, you become emotional, or you're like, I have to make money. I have to. It's much more fun when it is fun, right? And it's much more. Sometimes it's a lot more profitable too. You're willing to wait. If you're able to deploy cash at a lower level, it's like you understand the benefit of things, right? And I did some nice diagramming. I'm not singling out Cardano and saying that it's going to go to 2 cents. If it does, I got to tell you, like Doge, I don't want it to go to 2 cents. Cardano, I'd kind of like it to go to 2 cents because I wasn't around Cardano back when it was around 2 cents. Now with Dogecoin, I was there, right? So there's something about not having been there. I'd kind of like it to go there. So then it's one of those profit things I just kind of like to accomplish. Now, if you hold Cardano and you're like, this guy's talking about my holdings going to 2 cents. Hey, we'll go have a cigar and we'll buy some more together. How about that? Does that sound like a good idea? We're not going to celebrate with a cigar if it goes to 2 cents. I know you guys are thinking that, but not having been in the trade in Cardano at 2 cents, like at Dogecoin, I was there. So it's not a big deal. I'm like, that's how the different mentality will play with us. It's like, man, you cannot say to someone you hope it goes to 2 cents only for purposes of trading, right? Just on the theoretical purpose, you'd be able to buy a lot more and you'd be able to profit a lot right now. The whole idea of this video is what? The title of the video is, should you buy or should you sell? Should you take profits or should you go ahead and buy more, right? Now, I would say both, right? Both. I think you should maybe take some profits. I think that's a good, healthy thing. Some people in our community locked in like a 10x recently. Joshua, he locked in a 10x on Doge, and he had held down through the entirety of it. He decided finally he's going to lock in that 10x. And I was really excited for him, right? And it didn't hurt him at all. Right now, in terms of pricing, it didn't hurt him at all. He can redeploy that cash, and he could have within the next 24 hours. He could have actually made some more money on it if he chose to redeploy all of it. But he took that 10x, and I like that because that's a big accomplishment. I talked to some of our to the VIPs, and I chatted with them today out of Belgium. And yeah, she was talking about, well, she's a trader, she's this and that, and she accomplished a 2x, like kind of right off the bat. I think it was in Doge. I'm like, that's really impressive. Not everyone can say they got a 2x. Like that's just not I don't know. That's not it's not always possible. So when you guys get those kind of returns, it's really nice. When the prices go down, it makes it more likely that we're going to get that multiplicity of returns. So in terms of, well, you still haven't answered the question, kind of. Okay, should you take profits right now? Okay, or should you buy more? Okay, kind of both, And the question always, when you buy more, where do you buy? At what price do you buy? Do you deploy orders at lower levels? Okay, I never want to miss a run to the upside. I just don't. I never want to miss positive price action. And I'll just say for the investments that I've chosen to operate in, I think a lot of you guys, as I look through the names right now, a lot of you are the same way. Like, you're going to have a position in it. Like, it's kind of how you are. Now, it's probably not going to be enough. I'm going to say that it's not going to be enough to really bite or sting if it decides to really, you have some sort of stop loss or fallout measure. That's part of technical analysis. If you read the textbooks on it, you're going to read about protective stop losses. So in terms of the technology, I've been very excited to be able to bring you guys some of the recent technology, including the exchange for some of you guys, particularly anyone who's in Texas. I got to say that. I think Texas, not New York, but Texas has just been really helped out by some of the technology, you guys who are from Texas, by some of the exchanges or technology that we just brought you, I believe. Okay, I'm not sure where else you were able to get some of these coins, so very good job. You guys give me about 2 seconds. 1 second. So that's been positive for us to be able to bring that to you. As we look at Cardano, it's been a strong, a strong market participant, to say the least. It has not wanted to retrace, after it hit its 50% retracement. And let's look on the candlesticks again. Yeah, it did not want to hit its golden pocket. It got to the 50. Now it's kind of straddled up along the 38.2, and it's looking like it just doesn't want to really budge to the downside. That's really nice because if I look at it, and let's look at this on the daily. Just so I'm looking at these on the daily to get a better indication of what kind of channeling may be going on. See, and I anticipated something about like this on DFIN. It's been a nice mover. As we look at if we're going to triangulate anything, and again, I don't like to over triangulate, but just or channel. Okay, the triangulation is definitely there on the preceding time frame and at around the, what was it? We go to the 5, 10, the 30 minute, etc. Okay, the triangulations are all over the place. When we go to the daily, we're getting a different look at all these coins. Okay, this on Bitcoin, if we're going to go to, let's go to Bitcoin real quickly, excuse me, and let's see, this right here, BTC, yeah. On the daily, do you see this, essentially this channeling, okay? It typically would be a continuation pattern. It would move down. It could be a reversal. That'd be fantastic. I'd love to see that, huh? I'd love to see that. If it goes down, I'll buy more. Right, I'll put in orders for more. That's the strategy. Let me just say that's the strategy. Don't take it as financial advice. Do your own DYOR, right? Definitely DYOR. But always ready to deploy cash at lower levels of the Fibonacci at multiples of your current position. That's not necessarily just my strategy. Okay, that's used by some of the top investors on the planet, guys. Some of the top institutional firms, etc. And I've just researched that. It's open information. It's kind of like open source market intelligence. So we can definitely make use of that, I'd say, and incorporate that into our own strategy. If that wasn't your strategy before, some may have used that strategy for years and years, and it's kind of a common strategy. So, to deploy cash at lower levels does what? Well, that increases our volume exposure, right? And if it's more cash, we're going to have more volume. And essentially, guys, it's gonna really cut into that notion of like having a high cost basis. It's going to recapitalize your investment. Okay, cost basis is essentially your cost per share or cost per coin. So yeah, you're going to essentially flood out your upside risk. You're going to be able to get rid of that. Even if, particularly, guys, we were calling this around the top here, just kind of very forthrightly in terms of Bitcoin and where it was moving. The next move will be like this, and I just said we'll just see at which level that happens, right? So we'll see if it wants to break out here. If it does, that's great. We're prepared to do that. But as we look at ADA, let's just compare real quickly. On the daily, Bitcoin is doing something kind of like this, right? Just a parallel kind of lateral, focus channel. Now let's compare real quickly to ADA. ADA is doing something like, if you look at the pink lines, something like this, right? Yeah, so that's important for us to recognize that ADA looks like it is potentially, in more of a bullish mode than Bitcoin. Okay, in spite of the fact that its expression it looks more positively expressed in terms of the way it's been going. Now, the other thing I guess we could technically say about this, though, and I guess this is probably the most important thing we said about ADA, and I think you guys will agree with this. Some of you may have already picked up on it. It appears as if it's more bullish, correct? Yeah, because we're going up, right? We're having higher highs and potentially higher lows, right? Whenever you hear that, I want you to put it in context. And the context I'd like you to put it into is the following. Okay, we don't always work on channels, right? We don't always work on channeling. True. Now, what is the natural fallout of something? Let's say, what's the natural, the expected fallout of an upward diagonal channel? An upward diagonal channel is what? It's bearish by nature. So very interesting read as we go to the daily, absolutely, because we haven't covered this. And I appreciate you guys being here today. Should you buy? Should you sell? Should you take your profits or not? Now, can Cardano conquer that? Sure, of course it can. But to the extent that it may be a more accurate read of kind of what's going on with the overall market and maybe the sentiment of the overall market, it's just not a positive formation. If you're expecting a bullet, and now of course you can conquer through an upward diagonal channel. It's just that on the whole, technically speaking, if the fundamentals of technical analysis, institutionally driven, like Harvard, Duke, Yale, Stanford, okay, guys, they're all going to teach that an upward diagonal channel is bearish by nature. All right, that if that were on an exam, okay, question, and your professor was the former director of Merrill Lynch, International Asset HQ, whatever it is, you're going, whatever he might be, guys, you're going to look at this. This upward diagonal channel is going to be bearish, which is interesting because it looks as if it's more positively expressed, right? That's something we would expect that to continue. We've got kind of maybe the entirety of this channel. I mean, look at this, guys. Now we have the entirety of this, right? That's the flow right now. That just hasn't quit. Right now, believe it or not, what is that? This upward diagonal channel is what? Believe it or not, it's bearish. Okay, so we do have a breakout here. Right, and let's look it up. Look the textbooks up, guys. Get the book. For those of you who have the book, get the book out because this is interesting. This is why I don't always rely on channels because they omit retracement. They omit. Well, we're stuck in the zone of a channel. We're stuck in a channel formation on ADA. Cardano is in an upward diagonal channel. Okay, if we focus on the channel, then what? Well, we're gonna miss the fact that this is a bearish sentiment. All right, so I like Cardano. I like that. I brought that to some people's attention, and I think someone floated the ideas out to like a channel of like 30,000. I hope that channel of 30,000 people, okay, is told that really as we take a real good look at it now on a day of like, should we buy more or take profits? Well, I just got to tell you both maybe, right? Maybe take some profits and understand that you're in a bearish formation. Copy that. Yeah. An upward diagonal channel is a bearish formation. Doesn't feel like it. Doesn't look like it. Now, if you played it like that, I guess you would have just, well, let me say this. There's a break-even point. There's a measured move that you can take within this, okay, at all times. You want to know, well, how would you really trade this, okay? How would you really trade this? Well, I would probably do kind of like some trading lanes. And you can see that it's been a bit, we'd have to essentially splice this, okay? We'd have to get into, and before it really starts to really behave, it kind of breaks down. And we've got, kind of like either, you could pitchfork or regression trend this sucker up very easily, right? You could get into some different diagnostics quite simply on this. The way that I would express that, I would look at trading something like this just to show you. I would have different confidence intervals that I would want to move into, just so that you guys understand. We went through some advanced trading strategies on Bitcoin, essentially with some kind of higher degrees of probability, kind of risk assessment. I would get into something like this, and I would want to, let's see, let me make sure that I can see this. Probably the best color. I just want to make sure that you guys are able to really see this. Dun, 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 dun. Might just have to be pink again. I use pink a lot because you can actually see it. I have to say I'm not a huge fan of pink, but like the bubblegum pink, we can definitely see it. So I throw it all over everything. It's pink everywhere. You can see it on your screen. It just kind of jumps out at you. So as we look at this, what I'm typically going to do is just kind of like a highway zone. As we look at this, any type of a channel that I look at trading, it's going to have a support, it's going to have a resistance, then it's going to have confidence intervals depending upon essentially how well structured the channel formation is. Now, within let's say this upward portion of this forming channel, I may have additional kind of confidence intervals that I put in to this, into the kind of the trading lanes here. Why? Because this measured kind of focused, let me find my scuba mask. Where is my scuba mask? You guys look at the polyline. There we go. The polyline looks just like a scuba mask. The icon does. Now, as we're looking at the formation of this, okay, of this channel, we're in the top side of it now. Okay, I have identified kind of, let's say, a trading lane in kind of the midst, or kind of in the middle, right? We have identified kind of whatever that level is, and I'll bring them closer towards the line of support, or towards the resistance. I'll try and when you maximize things, and you can do that when you have better technical conformance with the channel in terms of the pricing. But as I look at this, it's possible that it wouldn't express itself fully. Right? That it would, even for instance, it would go up to like right here, and then it might do something like this and not want to touch the level of support while it's forming. So then it might go up to here and fully form. Then it goes down and it doesn't want to fully express itself. So what I have are multiple lines and multiple levels of probabilities which form. Now those probabilities are kind of like sub-channels within the channel. They're at a higher degree of probability of being achieved when you're trading. So within each channel that's traded, essentially, and you may have it to the upside or the downside, but you have a sub-channel, okay? You have this line right here, which essentially, if you constrict around kind of the majority of the price action, volume does this a lot. Volume indicators will show a lot of this, guys. But as you look at this, you're more likely to strike your price within this, along this trend line. Sometimes I'll express it if it's a really well-defined channel. Sometimes I'll be able to move these really far out. I'll be able to really move these far out, right? If it's a kind of a messy channel, it's like it's got I may need to draw 2 or 3 of these. It looks like we have we may get into some different trading dynamics. It may not be tightly constricted. The tighter you get around the middle, or whichever kind of, let's say, whichever, kind of, it's kind of almost like a price flow zone, right? The trend line, which is struck the majority of times, that's going to essentially define your channel. So as we look at this, those are like, for instance, I may add a purchase, okay? I may have a buy order there, guys. Instead of an alert, I may just literally have buy right there, Now, to the extent it doesn't want to fully express itself, I may go ahead and get more aggressive with it, right? To the extent it's not going to fully express itself on the upside, I may say, well, I'm going to back off of the full expression of this channel. make sure that I get my order in. So those are kind of like the trading lanes, okay? Those are kind of like how you would trade something in the midst of something being, because, it's not, and we have to bring up the possibility that that is what's occurring here, right? At some point it's like, yes, we do have, we have a positive expression of the price. We do have, I'd say a real clear, if you wanted to look at kind of, what would we say, guys? We have a real clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wouldn't you say? We have like a 1, 2, and we got the probably down here 3, 4, and then we would hope for you guys, and I've drawn it like this for a reason. Impulse. We would hope, everyone's hoping with Cardano, that we're able to get to the 5, right? Now your question's going to be, well, what if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a real? It's a good indicator, guys. It's real technically sound. So as we look at this, you may wonder, well, are we sure that this wasn't our 1? It doesn't have to be. If it's a small little step up, it's not always the case that would count as a major kind of wave function. But we'd have that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then the A, B, C, right? Okay, and you could have more. You can your indicators on the left. If you don't know how to use them, if you look them up, guys, use that John J. Murphy Principle of Technical Analysis of the Financial Market. I think you'll definitely benefit off of what you're able to what you're able to learn. I really look forward to you guys reading that. And his futures book before that was the one I cut my teeth on in high school, etc. I think you'll like that quite a bit. So, bearish channel. We've gotten a little diverted into ADA Cardano land. Just going over a little bit of in depth in terms of like, the full expression. Where do you want to put in your purchase and your sale orders? And it's a question I get all the time. Where am I supposed to sell? In terms of a channel formation, I want to bring that up because it's like, well, would you not trade this, right? And I shy away from channels typically because you can definitely trade them like that. They do what? They typically eliminate the Fibonacci's, and I'm huge on Fibonacci's, right? Fibonacci's are our pricing targets. Now you can trade something like that and just on the breakout you're out. You cut you're cut and dry. You're gone, right? And in terms of, and I'll give it to you guys, it's technically sound to want to trade. Right, in terms of a channel, it's a measured move. I can never, I can never doubt that. It's definitely part of the program. Now, as we look at and you might say, well, we would have picked up on more if we had traded it as a channel. We would have an argument to that because you'd have to channel. Essentially, you're going to take the whole ride up anyway on this positive price action, the bull flags, etc. You're going to take all that up. Now, this sideways action, this consolidation that you went through, okay, I'm going to tell you, got down to the 38.2, right? This is the Fibonacci, right? That's where your pricing target comes in. Okay, that's where you save. Literally, you're able to cut loose potentially and save up to 35, up to 40%. That's a big amount. I mean, it's nice when you make 50%. If you lose 40%, if you lose 50% of your money, you're gonna have to make 100% of it up. If whatever you lose, you're gonna have to make more than that to get yourself back to even. So you have a few down days of, well, it's only down 5%. Well, it's down 10%. Well, down a little bit. Slowly, that'll add up. Every 10% you move to the downside, you're gonna have to make more than that. That's why I always say it's more difficult sometimes to make that money up than it is to lose it. Okay, just on the approach of, well, something's down 20% or something like that. So, well, you're going to have to make more than 20% to get back to where you were, just so you understand that. So that's a big drop. That's why I prefer to look at Fibonacci's. I prefer to look at redeploying my cash as we look at the entirety of it. As soon as we get an all-time high, bam, I don't have to worry about drawing all the different confluences, everything else. It's like, figuring out how am I going to buy and sell this with my orders on a channel trade? Okay, I can do it. But it's kind of like the Fibonacci's already set up a lot better for that. It's thinking vertically always, while channels have you thinking sideways or in a diagonal direction, right? The Fibonacci's have you thinking and pricing targets all the time. And from the all-time high, we have almost a touchdown, really down to the golden pocket close. You had to play it aggressively. You probably had to move it up from. Some people just had kind of big orders there, and they were just using a different technique in terms of the placement of an exactly perfect strike based upon, I probably may know some of those people who had that waiting there. That's a kind of an institutional approach. I'll say that. Some people may be in our group that have that approach in terms of how to draw that Fibonacci and the way that it got picked up at your golden pocket during this big crash. That was a huge opportunity to make some immediate money. Okay, people don't want to deploy their orders at lower levels, guys. It went down 62% to pick people up at this 61. Well, let me make sure that's accurate. I want to be accurate on this. It went down 57% to pick people up who had orders waiting, essentially. And then it went what? It went up rocketed up 80% from there. So some people were waiting in this zone. Everyone wants to find, we all want to find the next coin. We want to find the next opportunity. Well, I want to find, I need a 50% trade. I need that 80% trade, right? Where is the value? Well, on Cardano, when it spilled out here, okay. Now there's definitely, guys. It would defy almost logic to not see. I'll just say this: if you're into technical analysis, to not see the maximum of this. Let's see this here. You guys is very, very clearly stated and well put. It's a valid opinion here on. I'm gonna say a Cardano, because the problem is you got into a flag formation here. What's your high? They say that flags fly at half mast. Okay, that's the way. That's street slang. Okay, you'll find it in the institutional books as well. But Wall Street. Okay, Wall Street slang. In terms of this, you're going to see kind of a bull flag formation here, right? Okay. Now the issue is going to be they fly at half mast. Why? Because you're going to expect it to go up and complete its formation. Okay, that's why they say flags fly at half mast. All right, you won't forget that now. You'll understand. Okay, yeah. So you're going to double that move in a strong bullish trend, right? Yeah. So looking at that, and you may get a little bit over. It gets a little tenuous on these, but on the sticks you'll get a little bit over. As you look at this, what does that mean? That means you've maxed out your trade. That means you're done, right? That means you look at it and it's like, okay, we that's done. We got that done. Now, what we're holding, well, you can, but just like on AMC today, I got a lot of flack from a lot of their guys being like, you're selling, or you want to sell your 40% profit that you made. You'll never, I don't know what he said. I was like, what? I was like, the pricing target was hit exactly, right? I gave the pricing target exactly. We hit it. It's 40% up. It's over for a moment, right? Just for a moment. Why? Because it was going through, it's going through some sort of consolidation phase right now, and you could probably save, 5, 10, 15% on the move. If you're really a supporter of the movement, get out and deploy more cash into it at a lower level. Be the bull that's going to step in. A lot of people are afraid to trade. On some move like this, a basic part of technical analysis, guys, this is it. That's it, particularly when you get involved. I want to say this. If you wanted to be kind of fancy with it, you wanted to say, okay, great, and we'll look at the exact. If we need to look at the parameters, we're analyzing the top of ADA, talking about taking profit or buying more today, right? Yes. So as we look at this, you could have gotten a little fancy with it. At some point right here, it becomes very highly technically indicated on the probabilities. This party is over. Right now, that cut loose, at least at this point, if not at the full expression. I'm the kind of guy, I'm noticing this quite a bit in terms of, I say my own, if and when I am involved, and frequently, it's nice to be involved. I'll say that. So in terms of the full expression of this, right, this pricing target, the target means cut loose, correct? We are going to understand that that's the sell right there. We sell, boom, target achieved, sell, great, out. That's it. Out. Right? Okay. You'll get to the point you obviously do decide how much to invest. I never tell people how much to invest. I say pepper in at the tops. Right? Right. People want to something's at a new all-time high. They plug into it immediately. And this just happens all the time. Oh wow. Okay. Great. AMP is up. All right. AMP's at a new all-time high. We got to get into it. Really? Okay. Good. What do? We pepper in at the top. Real light investments. Just pepper at the top. You got to get involved, no problem. And what does that do? Well, you're going to pepper in at the top, and then what are you going to do? As soon as it reaches its new all-time high, just like Cardano did, you've already got your pricing targets. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, with multiples of cash at lower levels. Never overexposed at any higher price. You guys see? in terms of peppering it at the top, well, wouldn't you want? Well, I tell you, you never buy high to sell low. You just don't do it. If you're gonna compromise your cash position like that, it's not going to be unheard of that. And maybe you do a stop loss. Maybe you have your own mitigation technique, but it's not going to be unheard of for you to probably run into a problem in terms of pricing. Now there are parabolic moves for on top of parabolic moves. This AMP would be one definitely. As you look at the pricing of it, you would want to you would want to kind of be lightly involved and kind of hit your Fibonacci's, right? Your Fibonacci's played well here, which is it's an example, guys. It's not that we love AMP at all. I mean, I don't love AMP at all, right? I'm not involved in emotion. I'm just not. All right, we'll go through Doge and some other interesting coins in a moment. But AMP's hitting a new all-time high. I brought it to the group, the VIPs, this morning. At some point, it was up about 20%. It's up about between 27 and 31%, depending upon which exchange you're on. So it's moved. Now, in terms of AMP, looking at, you've dug down into right at your 50% retracement. That's a big percentage that is saved, guys. That doesn't have to be just washed out of your account. Look at that. What is that, 40, 50%? Yeah, that's from about ground zero there. So you don't have to lose 50% of your account. Huh? Now you can redeploy cash. Absolutely. So as we go to the next high, what did it do? Well, it went down, down into, it looks like it may have hit its, it went right down into its 65th percentile to its golden pocket. So this is coming off of its golden pocket. That's nice, huh? You imagine that happening to Bitcoin? That'd be nice. If it wants to get down to its golden pocket. Now, it's hanging out. It's kind of hanging out, right? It's interesting. It's kind of hanging out at its own 50%, kind of right in here, isn't it? That'd be the equivalent right in here. That'd be nice to see Bitcoin go ahead and do. I'm a big fan of price action. So what I don't like is things just kind of hanging around doing nothing, right? So when I see price action like AMP, I bring it to the group. I just do. Let's see if we can get a little bit better of an idea in terms of what it's wanting to do. Let me go to the 30-minute. Yeah, it's just gonna do what it wants to do. I'm trying to get a good look at this this formation here. Not sure the best pattern to look at or the best time frame to look at. Yeah, it looks like we have a little bull pennant. Now, this is going to be an interesting play. We just had this discussion, right? Yeah, we did. We just had this discussion. Let's go down to the 5-minute and really get a closer look at this. And it's going to get a little bit choppier than on the 15-minute. Still allows us to see it as a bull pennant. Right? So that bull pennant is something that is, it has an expression here in terms of it flies at half mast, right? Yes, it does. We just covered that. So we would expect this, for those of you who are paying attention and trading, I'm not telling you this has had a great run. This is your baby. You roll with it. I'm just bringing it to the context of like ADA, right? A new all-time high. Like you pepper in at the top, what does that mean? Is that $5? Is that $500? Is it $5,000? I don't know. That's up to you. You've got the cash reserves below that. That's what makes it kind of the idea of like, salt and pepper, just, kind of a little bit of, pepper on there, right? So we would expect it to achieve this. It's just interesting, huh? It's achieving this all through red candles on the, you guys got your Trading View Pro, edition. Absolutely, right? It's achieving this all with red candles. That's dynamic there. We're going to want to check that. Let me see what we have. We'll go back and check that. Very interesting. That's all right. I think we have a modified version up that we have borrowed from somebody interesting. We have a different candle setup. I think that's okay. That's interesting. I'm glad I found that. That's funny. Not normal, huh? You can tell how much I love candles. There's some good chapters on candles, dojis, and all types of good fun stuff you guys can look into. So AMP's up 30%. Let's go back to let's go look at what's leading the board right now, just so we know. AMC did well today. Cut the cord at 40. And why cut the cord at 40? Well, because you could achieve the, you could essentially up in this area you can buy back at, you could just buy back lower, at least within the expression of this channel formation. Right, and you're assuming it's going to just form that channel. It really looks like it's going to try to do that. You'd want to do some derivative analysis and bring over carry over some different frameworks in terms of what just recently happened. Right, you're going to want to do that because it sure looked like this was going into a pennant right here. It just felt like that, right? It sure did, right? This was just happening. Now, for the people who decided to trade this, It became very interesting, right? This pennant formation. It sure was doing just that. Then it decided to break down. You work your fibs. Fibonacci's, redeployment of cash after the high. Always looking to do that. So that's immediately what does happen on a situation like this, an intermittent high, with the understanding that a breakout to the upside is always achievable. Now you're going to balance and you're going to essentially measure or balance, guys, what you believe, or if you're an experienced trader, you're going to know just about the difference. And it may have to do with the character of a stock or coin, the specific price behavior, or the overall market on something right now. It may dictate the answer to this question. The question is going to be, okay, so on the whole, I'm going to make the determination. On the whole, you're going to make the determination that what? That you're cutting loose at a high, redeploying along, let's say putting in orders on Fibonacci, okay, and then trading a breakout is going to be beneficial for you. That's a statement, okay? In terms of, I'm going to say that in terms of ADA that we just looked at, phenomenally productive, right? A move of like, what was the move? Like 50, 60, 70%? Was it 80% move? It was really nice. And at each point in time, your budget's going to dictate what you're doing. Your level of investment's going to dictate what you're doing, right? And so the more that you can get into trading, it's kind of like, if you have if you have a store. Let's go back to Doge and let's bring up a good analogy. It's a good old home remedy kind of story here. I'd say, imagine you have a store, okay, and you have to sell something, and your store is a brand new store to sell something. It's your first day. You're so nervous, huh? It's just like, wow, what are you going to do, huh? And let's take a look at the Doge chart. And you get there, and it's like your first customer walks up, and you've been building up to this moment for so long, you don't know really what to do, and you got them there, and you this and that, and you're just kind of nervous to sell something. And it's like, even it's yours, it's your store, it's yours to completely do as you want. And that story can happen, right? It's like, I was just I don't know why, I was just kind of nervous to engage my first customer, first sale. Maybe it's a big business deal, something like that. It's your product, but it's like, people just kind of get nervous to sell something, right? I don't know. There's, and it's the emotional aspect of it is just a little bit. I don't know. Some people, I don't know, in terms of diamond hands, etc. I just, I don't really buy into the culture because I meet a lot of them that want to do better than like losing 50 or 60% of their money, and I'm involved at the top, telling the people in this crew, etc., that we don't get prizes for losing 60% of our investment. Now, if it's just all, kind of, float fund cash, that's fine. I guess if it's just all that and you're going to compound on top of it, you're going to readjust your cost basis through a more aggressive, multiple, I'd say, investment at lower levels, that's fine. We enjoy trading. We just do, right? And it's just to master that art. It's always been for us, a lot of the guys in the group as well, so a lot of the ladies. It's just been kind of Wall Street has been a lot of kind of a big lure, right? Maybe it's a big lure for us, right? About big whales, and we're just maybe small fish in a big pond. But our entire life, it's been something that we've looked at and wanted to kind of conquer, So the crypto space has been a lot of fun for us. I think it's been a lot of fun. I say us collectively because we've had a great time with it, and it's going to continue to be fun. When we have opportunities to kind of relax, like with Doge a little bit, no problem. Well, we got some people plugged into a new exchange. That's kind of cool. People kind of hunting through things and being like, okay, we got some more coins. Okay, this is going to be maybe more interesting. All of a sudden things got a little more interesting. That's fun, right? Because things are retracing. Doge is underperforming, or maybe it's overperforming with its lack of volatility. All right, so it's possible that it could be, and we may remember that we stated this. It could be outperforming with its lack of volatility, right? So always trying to think of that next, as you look at the glossary in the back of your textbooks, like what is it, how could we stream this together string together the logic to where we understood maybe what's going on with Doge in a different context that we might be able to capitalize on, soon. We did talk about the, kind of wanting Doge to complete its move up. Right, it's kind of it's leg to the upside if it can. It hasn't really wanted to, but I don't know. It's not that I'm okay with it being just lacking volatility because we're always looking for price action. But I have to keep reminding myself and everyone else that it has been a 100x. All right, if you were able to do like what we just saw on AMP, right? And you're going to have to run through AMP again. I'm just going to say that because if new people show up, I don't want to be hopping around to AMP or hopping around to, necessarily all the different flavors of the hour, right? That's not necessarily what we want to do. So we're getting some positive expression now on Dogecoin. Or not on Dogecoin, on Bitcoin. Boy, they would hate that, wouldn't they? You look at the Bitcoin chart, you think Dogecoin. Huh? Why not? That's funny. So as we look at, some of them are just ruthless. I saw them doing today what they were doing. It's like, what are they doing that? It's like they're just they hate each other. It's like they just hate Elon. They hate the whole thing. I don't know. It's getting ferocious out there. I don't know what's going on, but between the apes and AMC, between everything else going on, I don't know. The season is on, huh? It's the Bears and the Bulls. They're getting after it, huh? Interesting. That's okay. So as we look at this, it's come right in contact. You want to know why has Bitcoin come down to this level? In all likelihood, well, it's the most interim price frequency. All right, the most interim price frequency. Okay, expressed from the low to the high. Okay, and it is that essentially it's right in line with that, guys. It's right in line with that first level, the 23.6% retracement. 23.6% of what? 23.6% of that price movement in the most recent frequency. You guys get that? The move to the upside, okay, 23.6% of this most recent frequency. Okay, price movement. Price frequency, price movement, etc. That's just the same name. So that's why it's landed here. We'll see how it chooses to behave, and we'll try and leave this Fibonacci right here. Could it go? My pup's in the background. Could it go? And decide to move up? Yeah, it definitely could, right? If people aren't going to heavily retrace it, some people may be working on different components of trading it, right? Some people may be just working on different components of trading it. So there's no problem with that. Some people may be trading on the EMA lines, on the EMA band. Some people may be kind of flash trading on smaller. I'd say flash trading on smaller time increments. There's a host of different options that you can definitely look at. So let's see what Bond is heading off to work. I want to say hello, Bond, and take care of yourself. Be good at work. And so let's see. Getting through some different logic and things like that. That's the way we choose to do our analysis. Is try and keep it interesting for people. We appreciate you guys stopping in. If you're new to the channel, just subscribe, turn on notifications, and we hope to teach you something. It's kind of the goal. That's what we're into. We're just highly accurate, and that's what we try and do, is just be very accurate and be positive with each other. That's what we try and do, is be positive. It's not always the easiest thing on the planet to just do only good every day. I don't know. I'll try and do that every single day. How about that? I'll try, but at some point we become superhuman. So anyway, I appreciate you guys trying to do only good with me every day, and I will always try and do that as well. It's not always easy, is it? I think we know that it's not always easy, but I guess it's always possible. We can say it's always possible. So we appreciate that component of the movement. We also appreciate the Bitcoin maximalists. Hey, we have to. We also appreciate the AMC apes. I guess we have to. And I guess at the end of the day, we got some maximalists, some apes. We got some day traders. We got some diamond hand holders. We got a lot going on, guys. I wasn't expecting all this when I got into crypto. I have to honestly say that I wasn't expecting all this. I mean, it's quite a bit going on. As we look at Bitcoin, I'm going to leave this chart here on the Fibonacci's. Okay, those are my pricing targets. Okay, these were my bells along the way that I had set up last night, and they hit just perfectly along the way as we looked at the chart that we were drawn on. They just hit perfectly last night. I came up with these before the price action came here, and it was just a perfect kind of structured, attack there on the pricing in terms of Bitcoin. So that was very nice in terms of what we were able to at least discuss and watch it kind of come to fruition. Now it's looking like it may want to move to the upside again. That would be great. I have a zone kind of tagged out here that I would like to potentially participate in personally. But that's just me personally, and it may adjust. It is most likely already on the books, I'd say. But just in terms of pointing out, a possible, what's the highest degree of probability of any one zone? Yes, it's not just, well, we know it's going up right now. That's fine. I'm interested in what's the highest degree of probability of, in whichever, zones it wants to operate. And I had this discussion last night. So that's real important. And as we look at that, it's really important that we always identify levels of probability, likelihood, right? Percentages that affect our risk exposure, right? There's less of a possibility of something completing itself or completing a move that you anticipate. There's more risk involved, could cost you more money. So yeah, that's a big deal. So we're getting, as we look at this, looks like Bitcoin's up 3.24% on the day. It's over $40,000. That would be an incredible level for it to break through. And this 40 then the 42.65 would be interesting to see it break through that. That would be nice. If it can get up through that level, that would be that would be important, I'd say. So the probability is that it will go down. That's the probability. We're in a retracement, so the probabilities are in favor of it going down. You can bet against the market and do very well. Okay, some people they're like, they have the luck of the draw at the casinos. They go get the blackjack more frequently than other people. Well, that's really nice, right? And, some people just have that hand, and they can take care of that. Let's see what we have in terms of it'd be nice to turn green, wouldn't it? It'd be nice to get in a green zone with this. But it's just the odds and probabilities are that this is headed downward. Let's look at the RSI. Let's bring the RSI up. So as we look at the RSI, do we have any instances where it's wanted to just kick back up and have multiple kind of tags in and above that 70? Not necessarily. Let me go ahead and there's your RSI. How about that? You guys see that a little bit better? Yeah, there we go. So as we look at that, it is a circumstance where I'm trying to look on the hourly. Is there any other kind of real indication or circumstance where we've been able to, if we look at just the RSI, Relative Strength Index, we've already kind of, hit it well a few different times. Looking at kind of the pattern structure of the RSI, there's a couple hits. There's multiple hits there with a, let's see. Yep. Okay. So with a move back down to kind of the middle, in around 50 to 60 on RSI. So, it looks like to break out of this, we're really going to have to really hit a trajectory back up and really expose ourselves to the characteristic or the indication that we are overbought. We're going to have to really be overbought for a minute again to push that sucker up. So it's happened, right? And it could happen, but that's going to essentially be the threshold indicator that we're going to look at. And as much as we want that to just move up, and since we've been talking, it looks like it may be lightening up a little bit. But you guys, it's good for all your Doge, for your Matic, for the entirety. It's nice. Let's look at TFUEL. What has TFUEL decided to do? TFUEL is kind of playing off. That's Theta Fuel. Great use case. Like the use case, like the company, like all the dynamics. It's got a lot of things going for it. It's interesting. So it's playing off its fib at the, let's see. That's the macro and the micro. So it's playing off of its fib and around the 38.2 essentially. So that's okay. Let me go look at the, okay. Nothing has changed as we look at the candlesticks. So, I like Theta, the fact that it is kind of negatively expressed or negatively correlated with the market right now. So is KSM, WOANKR, let's see, XLM, Alpha, just some different coins that are negatively expressed while the rest of the market is up. I like to see that. AMP, let's take another look. It looks like a new high. That's nice. I'm glad I brought that to the VIP in the back exclusive room, guys. That's the VIPs have exclusive access to Twitter. Boom, 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 boom. There we go, to Twitter. And exclusive, you guys receive the pricing updates. You receive kind of some of the commentary. We interact quite a bit, and that's just a good zone for you guys to. It's a good team for everyone to, I'd say, collaborate and do well on. So yeah, that's nice. That is nice to see. And yeah, we changed up the look of the channel today. We just did that. I wanted to do that just to do something completely different and kind of off the wall, and just say you guys go for it. Just change it up. You see a lot of the members of the VIP are pictured. You guys will enjoy looking at pictures of yourself and kind of being front and center. We have a lot of people check in on this channel because we have a lot of financial professionals that are a part of the VIP. So we're trained in this stuff. A lot of us are trained, at least with degrees and certifications and markets or something else. We've got this level of acumen that I don't think is necessarily expressed. I do hear some professionals that do a great job in the space, really, to tell you the truth. I've heard, Gammon is one guy that friend let me know of Gammon. He's a good guy in terms of market analytics. I've enjoyed listening to him. He's kind of an overall market theorist and kind of pragmatist. I'd call him a pragmatist. He's very, I don't use fancy words, but that's what he is. So AMP has been good as you guys look at other coins to kind of fill the gap here. I always am a fan of peppering in at the top, meaning not heavily involved. Particularly, this is not the time to buy something, right? You want to buy it when it's low, absolutely. But it might give you an opportunity to jump in and say, well, it looks like it has some momentum. I'm going to work to Fibonacci's, practice trading, and book some positive trades. That's our big deal here, is booking positive trades. Okay, now let's deal with the question, should you buy or should you sell, right? Should you take profits or should you sell, right? Let's look at something like, there's a few different lines of thought, okay? A few different lines of thought. Let's look at Bitcoin right now. Doge is holding steady right now. With Doge, a lot of people that I know personally, honestly, I could tell them I think it's time to take profits. They'd be like, yeah, that's great. What I'm going to do is if it goes down, I'm just going to buy more, right? And they might want to know, though, they might want to know the exact kind of the best entry target prices, right? Because you can maximize your gains, your profits, entering in at the right spot. So that's what we focus on with our Fibonacci's. You just have to be able to draw them well, guys. If you can draw them well, there should be no problem. But you have to know whether or not to go to kind of ground zero to enter the coordinates. Then when you draw your Fibonacci's, it is a pricing tool. That's it. Okay, I just drew this one in the middle of the screen to show you. These are your pricing tools. It literally has percentages next to prices. They're the standard of the industry in terms of what's accepted and what's expected. Okay, of the pricing action. So that's a good thing, right? That's a very good thing in terms of our ability to enter in at kind of a pre-designated and established and kind of overall, what would you say? Something that has achieved conformance and acceptance in the market. The entirety of the market has conformed, of the institutional market has conformed to one of two things: pricing targets and Fibonacci's, and maybe three or four, but we'll say pricing targets and Fibonacci's and pattern breakouts. Okay, so when we look at the mess that has been kind of created back and forth, there were 3 or 4 times within the context of Bitcoin where it broke out. We're going to the upside. Well, the triangle's going to move on you. Well, we broke out. We're going to the triangle's going to move on you. It just moved over. Then we're at another position. Well, we've broken out to the upside. Okay, so now if it's a complete transition into, well, now we don't have a triangulation. We just have a channel. Okay, if that's the case, I've been discussing that since the beginning because on the daily, that's what you've had. Now, you are in line with, there's kind of a sub-highway here. I'll say a kind of a sub lane here right in this area, okay? And there may be kind of a sub area right in this area, okay? So what does this essentially mean as we look at kind of the channel formation here? It's like, well, yes, you've broken out, but you could still be, and this applies to the overall market. We're getting through the componentry here as to whether or not we're going to, because I'll tell you guys, it's one thing completely different if we decide to traject up through these EMA bands. Okay, if your exponential averages, if you're going to conquer all of those and work back to where you're going to be on top of those, hey, we're in a completely different zone. I have all of that lined out with indicators. We set these up last night. All right, so that would be a phenomenal move to get up in through here, and you'll see the way I have this lined out, right? Kind of like with these are kind of alert bells that I've drawn. If we can get up through that, and then get depending upon where we're at in the different levels, that's going to give me some indications. Okay, so and there's the green zone here. is nice. That's a green zone, which would be kind of on top of those EMA bands, incidentally. So that's interesting. That's maybe a zone, a heavier zone, and the zone may be down and through here. We'd have to go through all those analytics again. We went through a lot of them. So looking at the daily on Bitcoin, we do have that expression, and I want to bring that up. That we have that expression. Let me get back to this here. Essentially, we have kind of a twofold channel, okay, on the daily, and people aren't really recognizing this, but I think it's important in terms of actually calling, actually being able to say that yes, we have a breakout, right? Because we do have this level right here, and then we have this higher level here, established by this previous high, kind of interim high after the big breakdown. And when you look at the candles, it's like, whoa, okay, I get it. Yeah, okay, there's that kind of wall there. That's a big wall, right? So that's a big level that needs to kind of be conquered. And you can see it could, the candles have gone up to 35. This is on the euro. This is on the euro. I had looked at this on the euro. Let's tag it back to the USD. Okay, same story, same exact price function. I have different charts and different setups on different currencies, so that allows me to kind of have different angles and different visualizations to look at. So this is the top expression of that channel. This is a big that's a big line as you look at this, right? This green wall here just did not want to move beyond that, right? So we're not really there yet. Can we? And most people say we'd like to see a close on the daily up above this area. That'd be great. That'd be phenomenal, right? That would be something that would indicate to us that it's ready to move up and beyond this. So the answer may be, I guess, as we look at this, the answer may be a little bit, a little bit of a patience game. So on the daily, we're able to look at the RSI a little differently. Let's look at the daily RSI. Not too bad. I'm really happy that we were able to get that RSI up to where it is right now. That's really nice. We do have some room on the daily to move up if we are able to conquer, and we're ready to conquer this dynamic, which has been, and this is what's going to have to be. This is how difficult it is to get back out of this. Let me move this down, to get back out of this bearish sentiment. Okay, this retracement. Look at this. As soon as we really got frustrated in price up along the top edge of Bitcoin, just understand Bitcoin. Okay. As soon as we got involved in that frustration, it's like we started adding kind of less, and this is a big move, to our RSI, and it just wanted to just step down. That's it. Party's over. Here we go. We're stepping down. Now it looks like we've picked up a bit more than what was anticipated, so that is a stronger move to the upside. Just in terms of how it's adding back and building back to the RSI, it's a positive move for the RSI, which outcompetes the previous zones. Probably it looks like about by 20%. Okay, so that's positive. That's something that definitely is something to about maybe 10 to 15%. So that's a great move. That's something new. That's not necessarily just within a channel. Is we have redefined a little bit. We have redefined the degree of expression of the strength of Bitcoin right now. That's nice. Okay, because I do hear some. I'm glad we did these analytics, because I hear some of even the Dubai guys and everything else, the fry guys. I call them the fry guys. It gets hot out there, But they're talking about, now they're conditioning their things. Well, it is good, but, and they're starting to say, so some hesitations in terms of maybe not everyone just throwing all their money into some things. So that's nice to hear. But as we look at it, yeah, there is an expression, a little bit more of an increased expression than previously in terms of the RSI, in terms of, I'd say, the overall move. But I would want to look at, let's do this. Let's look at the amplitude. Let's just measure the amplitude on it, and let's see where that is, because the amplitude may be different. No, you're above the amplitude too. You have beat the prior level amplitude, so that's kind of important. I would do kind of a regression analysis on that. It's going to be a little bit complicated, and I'm not sure everyone's going to want to get into the kind of the variability component of that, because it turns into kind of a hypothetical discussion that yes, it has conclusions, but it's just kind of it's a lot for for a weekday when everybody's been at work or hanging out. I hope you guys are doing well at your work and in your relationships. I appreciate you guys being here. You have put me in a better mood, so thank you for being here. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. If you guys would need some additional diagnostics on something, let me know. Matic, we have accumulated Matic heavily. We've hit pricing targets. I'm glad to see that out of kind of a structured, constricting wedge, I'd say. I again always hesitate to use things like large formations because they typically, particularly in a bearish pattern, they don't always want to work out. So I'm real big on pricing targets, just real easy stuff. I want to get into essentially where can I accumulate? What's the best kind of zone for me to accumulate in? And that's where the rubber meets the road in terms of trading. Where am I going to enter? When you enter into your orders, like what exact area am I going to enter into? So you see all these green lines are literal pricing targets and levels of accumulation. Believe it or not, it's once you zoom in, it's not that kind of serious, but you'll just see that's where the accumulation wanted to take place, meaning the purchases. That's just it. Matic was a great 3.5x for this group. I brought it to the group in and around this 78 cents and around this area. And it was just, it was a really long, frustrated kind of channel there. Like this has some potential because it's not wanting to really capitulate anymore it's kind of stuck at the top level of the Fibonacci, right? That level just did not want to be compromised. So I knew, at least it was worth discussing. And of all the ones that we, quote unquote, we kind of just know, we have a feeling, well, this one was just one that was technically indicated. So it was nice to be able to bring that to the group. And for those of you who made money or are in the money now on the trades, good job. Hopefully we've done a good job of, hopefully the best job of entering into a pricing target. I don't even know anyone else that's trying to get into pricing targets. So I'd say one thing, if you don't get picked up by a market maker, what is the solution? Well, I got in anyway. The market maker didn't pick you up. He didn't pick your orders up. No. Well, I got in anyway. All right. That's kind of a solution-oriented approach to something. If you wanted to get in the trade, if you entered into a trade and the price went down like 10 or 15%, but you really love the asset or you love the coin or the stock, whatever it is. Okay, yeah, okay. What do you do then? Well, it's kind of like that. Well, I got in anyway. It's kind of like, well, I got picked up, but then the price went like 15, 20% below me. Oh, really? What'd you do? Well, I doubled down. I got more at the 20% off. Hey, cool. So you were prepared with your capital to do that, right? Yeah, always prepared with capital, resource cash at lower levels, ready to deploy at lower prices, right? If you draw a Fibonacci, and you've got, your next level down, it's like, well, I got picked up. Well, what happened? Well, the price fell through to the next level. Oh, really? What'd you do? Well, I doubled or I tripled down. Okay, well, it fell through again. Oh, that's great. So you really want to be involved in this investment? Yeah, I love this investment. What'd you do? Well, you just cut and run? No, I doubled, I tripled down again. Oh, wow, you really built up a position. Yeah, I decided I really want to be involved in this coin or in this asset. So yeah, I'm happy to do that. And that way I achieve what? I achieve a better cost basis. And I have my cash guarded towards the downside. Say, well, that's overly conservative. Well, not when things like to retrace on the aggregate, typically to the golden pocket, the 61.8 to the 65th percentile. That's 65% retracement of the aggregate. That's a big drop, guys. That's 65%. It wants to give up 65%. That's the golden ratio. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot to sit there and just hold through. Right now, maybe you're deploying your cash and running back and through. You're not even thinking about holding. Maybe holding is all you know. Maybe it's a little scary to trade. I'll say that the platforms are not all that easy, right? They're not all that understandable. But definitely getting some help with that stuff. People in the VIP are able to help each other, etc. And you guys are doing a great job of that. We have a new exchange platform that we're excited about. And someone asking about VET. Yeah, I'm happy to look at VET. Let's take a look at VET. Let me see where we're at. VChain. VChain, I have not financial advice. Okay, you guys know that on all these. I'm a former financial professional, but it's not financial advice. Please do your own research. From the ground zero up to the Fibonacci, I've already got this lined out. What we're looking at on the daily is that you've hit down into your 786. Okay, that 786% of retracement. Essentially, that line, which I have designated as a 64. What is that now? The 6 and 4/10 cent. So current price is at about 11. So you've moved up from that position at about, and let's just do kind of a threshold analytic on this. You've moved up about 78%. That's nice, 70 to 78%. If you have held since the top, I feel bad, because that means you've lost that degree of a percentage, up to 78%, 75% of your holdings. Now you're up to, maybe you only lost 50% of your holdings. You'd like it to move up. If you're looking for, the answer as to whether or not this is going to go up or go down very soon, that's for the fortune tellers. That's for the people with the hype machines. I'm gonna always preserve cash on the lower levels, right? VeChain, a lot of people did really well with it. Then they got hammered where they lost whatever huge percentage of it is. When I'm at the top of something like this, I've been covering this a lot. That's when when I decide to cut things loose. I don't want to be a part of it here. I don't want to be a part of this transition and have that affect my my pocketbook. It's just not. It's not in the cards with me. With this though, I mean, when you can see it comes back right in touch with its 38.2, a pricing target. VeChain, a lot of people were involved in it and still are. But when it comes back down in perfect contact with the 38.2, and you can achieve a real nice trade, this trade would have been in around. Let's look at that. That's about a 50% trade. That's a nice trade. You would have gotten a piece of that or all that. The point is, when it started to break down from the formation it had taken in your trade, and it was no longer indicated to stay into it, then that's when you deploy lower levels. And that's when you could continue to make money on VeChain after you had made a great amount of money. You really have to deploy kind of like a phase 2 approach after you've gone through the original bull run of something. And yes, it's predictive. It's textbook. When you look at the bull nature, like the bull run of something, this initial wave up, it's absolutely it's integrated into the framework of institutional learning on markets. It just is. So it's no mystery that it went up. It's no mystery that it's decided to it conforms to the majority of the market. I'd say the market assets, et cetera, that it has retraced. So, and not just in this instance, because there has been kind of a pullback of Bitcoin and just all these altcoins and Bitcoin. No, the entirety of pricing action performs very similarly to what we've seen in crypto. It actually, I would say it's I wouldn't want to say that it's just let's say it is expected. Absolutely, it is expected by the markets. That's just the bottom line. In the market assets. If you studied it, the book to go to is John J. Murphy, Principles of Technical Analysis. Okay, this is New York Institute of Finance, and you'll just find that's the book. I think they got copies of it in Harvard, Business School Library, and Stanford, things like that. So that's kind of the book. That's the go-to book on Wall Street. So I hope you enjoy that and apply that to VeChain. Look at wave theory on VeChain. In terms of it moving up, you just have to say, like anything else, it's just if it can hold, it's already hit its lowest level. It hasn't hit it on the line yet. So that would be one troubling thing for me. It's already expressed an intention to go down there, and it may want to ride down into that. I don't want to get into like advanced EMAs, et cetera, or I don't want to get into a variable EMA approach. I think I have this lined out previously to double and triple down at these levels. So this has already been expressed to somebody in terms of it being interesting from me to for them to look at it. So in terms of going down to this level, or an investment even at the level you're at. So I had already discussed that with somebody. So I think that's a good indicator that I've already discussed that with somebody. So appreciate you being here, Bob. Nice to have you here. Now on, let's see, we're just highly technical. We have a very specific strategy, and it's a strategy that kind of suits us. And Doge looks like it's just holding well. I'm just gonna say that when I pulled the chart up, it's definitely gone through retracement. I wouldn't want to have been through that portion of it. But as we look at the entirety of the chart, it just looks like it's holding well. It's we talked about VeChain could drop down to the 786. Doge has held up a little bit better than VeChain, so it's not surprising that that maybe maybe Elon wants to. I don't know. Maybe Elon wants to save a little bit of face. I don't know. I don't know what you guys would think. But Doge is currently up about 1%. It's not moving much. The volatility has just been constricted. We want that price action, but it's been nice for the people in the VIP to be able to definitely engage in positive trades. We always tell people to book a positive trade. That's just the deal. Just book a positive trade. Shout out to Angel on top. Angel Matos, the top right, is a top contributor, $900 in overall contributions. Just in the last few days, been very nice. Appreciate that, Angel. Big super chest, $99, etc. Just shout out to you. Really appreciate that. It really lightens the mood, and I appreciate that very much. The markets, when the markets turn sour and they go sideways, a lot of people just, it's kind of like they gang up on I don't know. It becomes very aggressive. I don't know why. It's difficult to. I guess I'm a heavy hitting kind of guy. It's like don't be mean to me. Like it's like we got a nice group, but then the nice people have to hear that the bad people or whoever else being mean to the other people. It's like, come on, just quit the friction. So it's nice to have your support, Angel. We appreciate that very much. And I did say that I might talk with you around 5. So I'm going to check in and see whether or not that is still on the books, and if I have any indication from you. I don't have indication from you right now in terms of that call. So I do want to just shout out to you and let you know that if you are expecting a call in around 5 o'clock, to please let me know. I would appreciate that via direct message here. So, and by here, I just mean on Twitter, et cetera. That'd be great for us to talk. Just need to know. Appreciate that. And so we handled sessions for a long time. And looks like Daniel's coming to the room. Hey, Daniel, how are you? Just hit the like button if you have not come up with much. Thanks. Deciding if I should buy some more or wait till the drop. Tom Pelfy on VeChain, maybe? Possibly, huh? Yeah. Just make sure whatever you Josh, appreciate it, brother. Appreciate that so much, Josh. Just great to see you. Great to have you here. It's nice to have you learning as much as you are. I know you're getting plugged into the just everything good in terms of technical analysis. The group is real small, and we normally we go through a lot of work, and so the work that's transmuted over to that level to the VIPs is just we have finance professionals, everything from blue collar to business workers or business owners, etc. So we are just it's a real unique group, and anything that people are looking at putting their money into, the big thing is not just what you're investing in, it's just kind of like at what price is the big deal. At what price? That's always the deal. Can you target into a specified price? Do you know how to target in terms of the Fibonacci's? Like what's your involvement with Fibonacci's? Where are you at in terms of achieving a pricing target? Like that's real crucial to us. We look at that all the time, day in and day out. So we're looking for Doge to pick up, and it has a habit of going 10x on people. Right, a lot of other coins do, but Doge had a nice 10x in January. That was the first one. Then another 10x here in April. So that's nice. That's nice. A lot of people have traded it, and 10x doesn't mean necessarily you got the full 10x. It does mean that it had enough positive price action that you could have really traded it and done. A lot of people make mistakes when they trade, but that kind of covered you. I'd say that kind of probably covered you. So it's nice to find that positive price action where you can kind of operate and you're insulated against any kind of loss. It's like, well, it went up 10x. Well, I got like 6x. That's nice. You still performed pretty well, and that would be kind of expected. That would be definitely expected just for you to do better in that kind of raging market. If you wanted to hold, that's great. If you wanted to hold too and through that, then it's not so great. So maybe you went for the 6x or the 7x and you wound up being 20% better than if you had held, or 25% better than if you held, and you didn't max out the market completely, but you did overachieve in terms of just a pattern behavior of just not engaging in the market at all, except at the very beginning and the very end. So that's going to be up to you guys in terms of how that goes forward. So Doge just kind of holding really steadily, not eerily steadily, but like I said, there's a landing pad. It's like we have found the landing pad. It's just that's what it's wanting to find. And I'd like, if it can find that, it has a habit of establishing those for a while, requiring us to be real patient. And then it likes to, in terms of of no volatility like this. Previous channel, like I was around, it was just, it was watching paint dry. It was about like that, but it had a few moves in there, but it really, after that, it really decided to take off. And it would be nice to see something like that if it wanted to occur again, just to keep the eye on it, keep some exposure in it, because, it can do this again at any point in time. Always having, just like VeChain we just discussed, different pricing targets, pricing targets at lower levels. And those lower levels will allow you to, to fulfill the profit equation. It's real easy. Buy low, sell high. It's nothing, we've known that for years. Everyone knows that. It's just the equation is selling high after what? After you bought, at a lower price. In that order, unless you're dealing with options. So, yeah, that's just kind of where we're at. Not sure. Let's take a look at Bitcoin and see if it's trying to really move through that line. This is kind of turning into a messy chart. Let's go back to a different time frame. I think it will benefit us to go potentially to, let's go to the hourly so we can get a good indication. We'd want to know, is that going to, if we look at the Fibonacci on it, is it going to, and that's on the hourly, let's go down to like the 30-minute. There we go on the 30 minutes, a little bit better. Yeah, on the 30-minute, you see a full expression of the price in line with the Fibonacci, the yellow line going down to the 23.6. So that's an indication that it's retracing. Now, if someone wants to accumulate it, that's great. The danger always, as you look at investing like this, the danger is that it'll fall through the entirety of this after you've accumulated it, which makes it very important that we operate on the aggregate, on the overall Fibonacci of the entirety of the price action, and that we're able to redeploy multiples of whatever our exposure is at this level, at this next level. Okay, and I would say this level being the 50% retracement. It has not hit its golden pocket yet. So whatever is there up in the upper level, we're going to want to, if it does fall down and go here, bam, we're engaging with multiples of the amount of capital. Right, so that's positive. That's what we look at. Let's see, BTC Tesla 49K. Yeah, I like that new Roadster, huh? That Plaid, 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. Sign me up. Sounds like fun, huh? Sounds like a lot of fun. So yeah, we're just trying to look at Bitcoin. It's within a channel, guys. It's within what most people aren't discussing, this channel formation. Why am I discussing it? Because on the daily, it's been real clear as everyone's wasting energy and time and money on breakouts of triangulations. This channel, and we have it real clear on this chart. Just the channel formation is just perfect. That is a measured move. That is just a beautiful channel, right? Yeah, that's nicely done. A lot of the noise from everyone screaming, go long, go short, do the options, do this and that, lose your money this way, let the market maker, take your bonus and your deposit, unfortunately a lot of times. So this is eliminating all the noise. It's on the daily. It's just something we can look at. Now, typically, this is going to be a pattern which is going to want to break to the downside. Right, we're going to want it to break to the downside. And guys, it's not financial advice. You guys know that. It's just do your own research. It's just I hope it's financially accurate. I can read a finance book. I have a degree in economics. Right, I'm certified in markets. Right, so yeah, I mean from Duke University. I've studied at Harvard Business School. So it's just one of those. Excuse me, I'm getting tired. Harvard Business School. I get tired. The market doesn't sleep. I try to every now and then, but I try to think of myself as bulletproof too. It's like I can take this. Of course I can. I can deliver all the pricing targets to the VIPs without a doubt. Of course. No, it's been the weekend. Well, it's the week now. We got to really get busy, right? So I try and have that Superman dynamic. You guys do too, I would imagine. If you're listening, it's like, yeah, we do. We enjoy it. I know we enjoy it, but sometimes it's like, well, we call the hunt off, call the dogs off. Like never, we will not. So as we look at this, the channel expresses itself a little bit more when we get into the multiple hits, even with potentially even another level of a channel. So it's just as much as you'd want to go and triangulate or do something different, a lot of times that gets real dangerous, right? So this would be a circumstance here where, as we head down, we've had 1, 2, 3 hits already, 3 hits down into this area if we were to head down, right? Now we just opened up, it looks like we're trying to open up a, let's see what we're trying to do. Come here. Come here. We have to make sure on this. This is a technical issue that we have to make sure of. And that is my line. Good. Making sure, because I'm like, we're not on a new candle. Because I was looking at the time, like, I know we're not. Okay, so I need to make sure on that. I'm going to just raise that a little bit. But you see the prior resistance here by the bodies of the candles. Absolutely, you see that. You see the current kind of, framework just kind of stuck, pegged right there. Does not want to move, right? So as you look at the conformance with the previous intervals, you're going to, and you also see a conformance within here. You see just, things just being stuck, right? Now, people will want to say this is Wyckoff's pattern. All right, Wyckoff is going to completely ignore the fact that you could go down to one of the most popular, levels on the planet, which is your golden pocket. Okay, Wyckoff's not going to talk at all about the fact that this wants to retrace the 61.8. It's kind of like a key feature. As you want to go up, everyone knows this. I hope you know this. As you want to go up and do more great things with altcoins and Bitcoin, etc., you having satisfied your golden pocket is kind of like a big deal. It's kind of like, it's kind of like it's the golden ratio for a reason in terms of pricing growth. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's a kind of a healthy expression. I'd say a natural and probable expression of the price as it retraces and wants to move to the upside. There's nothing wrong with it. People lose themselves, right? What is it on the aggregate? Excuse me. That's a 61.8% retracement. That's a loss of 61.8 to 65% of your money in your account. So that's a lot if you hold through that. The majority of people who trade and know what they're doing, they don't hold through that, right? That's just a lot of money to just sit there and hold on and just wait and wait and wait. So, maybe if you put it in cold storage and turn off all the TVs and all the input, maybe that makes sense. But it's a lot to go through. So we don't like to necessarily experience that if we don't have to. So we would look at this as a continuation pattern to move to the downside, to the golden pocket. If it can break out, if it can bust out, great. I have pre-designated levels ready to roll. Literally, and they've been ready to roll for a while. And as we look at this on the hourly, like they were ready to roll last night, and exactly, like, here was a level, little ping contest. Me explaining last night, this is not a level I want to be involved in terms of entry into. That was the reason for me having this, not to be involved in these levels in terms of an entry into the market while everyone else is screaming breakout. No. And we just taglined in right along these levels. So that was nice. They were just technically indicated. If you're highly technical, it's probable that you're going to be accurate. I'll just say that. And if you're inaccurate frequently, it's probably because you lack the technicals. So it's not difficult to master those. You just have to spend the time and be around kind of the right people. We have a lot of people in the group that are very much in line with those technicals. So shout out to all you guys. I appreciate all the effort that you guys are putting forth. It's a nice effort. It's good to see. The top level of membership here is the VIP. You guys will be able to interact with each other. You'll also be able to receive pricing targets. Those pricing targets are very crucial in terms of just being even alerted in a group, et cetera, that says, we'd like to hit AMC. Okay, great. Here's the, here's around your, exactly your kind of sniper scoped in, target. Talking about a potential breakout, it didn't work. Okay, so backup is now we're on retracements. Bam, here's your level, right? 40% trade, just beautiful. Lock and load, there you go, and there's 40%. So that was a nice move on AMC. We talk about all different types of things in VIP. You guys know that. Looks like we're getting, that's a nice potential move there. Wants to perpetual. Just haven't looked at it for a minute. It just popped up. It's got some good price movement. Perpetual is at 11% right now. Audio has just been cooking it, hadn't it? The last few days, audio's been really nice. Now, again, in terms of like channel formation, it's just I don't know. I'm looking at through consolidation, you can continue to just see the expressions of, essentially like channels. It's going to want to consolidation is just, and this has a little bit more of a triangulation on the 2 hour. I'd want to go to the daily just to get away from the triangulations, because the problem with the triangulation is that it's going to break out, and then it's going to break out, then it's going to break out, and you wind up with something that looks like a channel. So as we look at the daily, let's look at the daily on audio. Still a little bit. That's kind of more interesting to me that on the daily. This is the first one we've run into on the daily with audio. It looks like it has broken out. Now the problem even with this is going to be that once you break out of a descending triangle, what is very easy for it to do? It's very easy for it to break down again, and then you just have another. Excuse me. Those are just alerts. Okay, we got you. Let's turn you off. Let me get rid of you. That's kind of loud. Let me. It's intended to wake you up. But once we do that, if you break out, if you break out, you're going to. Let me just keep it away from the line. Like, good heavens. That's intended to wake you up, get your attention. Well, if it's going to keep doing it, we're just going to disable you. Now we have to disable this alert because it's gotten annoying, hasn't it? I think so. Let me see it. Maybe hitting 1 of 2 or 3. Let me just do that. We'll just do this, clean it up. But what you see is the fact that when you try and beat a descending triangle, what happens? Well, what happens is it will form another portion of something that which is potentially incorporated into just a broadened descending triangle. Right? So that's the bottom line. That's what occurs. Once it's beat, it pushes. Once it's beat, it pushes. And to the extent it continues to do that, you wind up with a channel. So this is the first one that looks like on the daily that audio has broken out. It's been performing well. I know Engine has been ENJ has been something that people have enjoyed on the daily. That's an interesting daily. That's a nice daily chart. I like that. I got a lot of fibs all over it. I guess, Andrew, shout out to you. I know you've been trading the heck out of ENJ. Good job. Nice trades. Like to hear a bunch of trades. So let's see what we have. Just consolidation. I mean, all you can say is just consolidation. It's kind of, it's easy to say, you wanted to get involved, and let's go ahead now and talk about, well, you went into the 78.6, right along the, for anyone who wanted to accumulate ENJ, anyone who really wanted to get into it, like Andrew, he probably got into it, and you see right here the 78.6 very clearly indicated. If you had doubled or tripled down at every single level and maximum exposure at this lower price, then it's probably worked out very well for you on this trade. That's the approach. It's real simple. You made 27% on a decent amount of money as you doubled and tripled down, or if you tripled down at every level, the maximum level down here, you're going to make 20, 30% on that, or 5 or 10%, ready for it to go to the upside. Just peppering in at the top and tripling down as you get into each level. That's just maximizing your exposure on the downside. That's the whole idea, is maximizing your exposure at lower prices. That is typically that's the idea that we want to get involved in. So everything's kind of running green. Kind of interested if TFUEL wants to stay red, just because it's up near its potential. Could be a high. We brought it up. I'm looking forward to it coming down a bit more for purposes of orders, right? I mean, pepper in at the top, and I wanted this to potentially go down. It looked like potentially it could go down. So I was like, that sounds nice. If you can set a new high, TFUEL has a great use case. The former founder of YouTube, or the founder of YouTube, is one of the advisors. They have Samsung, the TV company, etc., is an investor in TFUEL, and it's something that we've definitely taken a look at, invested in personally. So anyway, it's something. So it's contraindicated with the market right now, which is fascinating to me. I like it from a diversification standpoint, kind of a hedge standpoint, as Bitcoin is going up and TFUEL is going down. I like that. Where are we at on ETH? ETH is up as well. So it's contraindicated the market right now. It has had that degree of positivity, and while the rest of the market has been quasi-negative, I'd say that. So as we look at one more time, just BTC. This is BTC. This is the story. Can we bust out of this channel? I don't know. It would be nice to bust out of the channel. It's got the multiple levels. Again, just to remind you, it has those multiple, kind of the interior componentry. As we look at the candles, it's got the lower level componentry as well. If you guys were to really anticipate what is going on here, it's a lot more than what one story wants to tell on a widely accepted kind of, I'd say a widely accepted Wyckoff. Something that people have picked up on Wyckoff, right? Yeah, it's just it is this what it is. So I would just On different time frames, it's going to be, let's say that's going to be different things depending upon which time frame you're on. So that level of variability, like on the hourly, it's going to look a lot differently. Now it's starting to look kind of like maybe the channel formation is a realistic one to kind of look at, right? And instead of all these triangulations and everything, we play with the triangulations, but I've gone to this channel formation most recently, and yeah, that's just it is because it's just I've been sticking with that for days. So I don't want to say, well, we knew or we did. That's not my intention at all. I respect other people as they try and develop in the space and everything else, and I hope they respect us as we try and develop in the space. Some people are better with a camera and yelling at a camera, and there's something to be said for that. I have to say, honestly, there really is. So that's exciting. A lot of times, that's something. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to get excited about a camera. That's cool. That is cool. So. I'd rather maintain, and I'd rather deliver proper information to the best of my abilities, and have a group that's also and to have a group that is also doing well like that and calibrated towards success. I want to be calibrated towards success, and I don't want to be sloppy in it. That's just the bottom line. UBT is getting some action. All right, I have indicators set up for that. UBT. DIA. DIA is moving, perpetual, keep. So we have Doge, we have Matic. Let's look at Matic again. And it's just like, essentially, what's the question? Are we going to take profits? Or are you going to buy more? I think the answer is both, right? The answer right now is both. Making sure as a fundamental precept is that you have backup reserve capital. People always want to know, well, do you think I should sell now because of such and such and such and such? And I bought it, $1.50 or $2.30, and now it's $1.30. Do you think I should sell? I just normally tell people, mathematically, you always kind of need to have backup capital. Just mathematically, if you expect to cover that position, like if you're in that position, if you had backup capital, it wouldn't be a problem. If you had a multiple of your capital, it wouldn't be a problem. But people always want the answer, well, is it going to go up or is it going to go down? That to me is not the answer, because it may change literally from these days a tweet or a business deal could close that no one was anticipating, right? And so, yeah, that answer can change. It's going to go up or it's going to go down. It's like, well, no, we really want to know if it's going to go up or go down. Well, you want insider information? Because we can definitely solve that. If you want insider information, I can give that to you right now. Well, based on the technicals then, just based on the technicals. Well, the technicals give us pricing targets at lower levels. That's it. And some of the breakouts, or some of the formations are real clear. Like if I wanted to, though, I could definitely get into like on the daily with Matic right now. We could, pull up a kind of interesting, real, and this wouldn't be the first time we've done this on Matic. But we could bring up some sort of a real, large, impressive triangulation here. Right? And I think we've done this. But we could have, essentially nothing more than a real successful kind of flag event here. We could have a pennant formation here. And this could be nothing more than success after success after success, right? Except this is kind of, an odd, it's not very typical. There's no run up. This is not a standardized pennant. People start to play with things like this when you say, well, it has to be making some kind of a chart formation now. Well, we just don't push it, right? So in terms of people pushing it, well, is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Or where should I sell? Or what, if in terms of the bullish nature of the market, we're in a retracement right now. The odds are just the odds, even right now, believe it or not. Now, it can change. A business deal, anything can go through. But the odds are right now we're still in a retracement. We've outperformed it. We've done some diagnostics. It looks like we've outperformed in terms of the RSI. So we've picked up a little bit of steam. That's one indicator. That's one variable right now that goes in the cap, feather in the cap of Bitcoin, okay, of the market. We have achieved more in terms of strength right now, okay, than we have in the previous pricing amidst the previous pricing frequencies. Excuse me, easy for me to say. So that RSI has limited us to a degree, and it's been pretty relatively consistent to the extent that it has, or in the amount, or to the degree or to the extent that it has limited us. So it's been measurable. Let me say that. That's the easiest way to say it. It's been measurable. Okay, and that measurability right now is telling us that it has outperformed the previous intervals. So that's nice to see that. Now, that's no indication necessarily. There's a host of other indicators, right? We have on the daily. We also have on the weekly. We could go to the weekly and really move out, right? That's easy for us to do. There we go. Just to look at kind of some different ideas and really take a look. I wanted to see if we had any indicators or any signs on the weekly. It doesn't look like we do. So let's look at the 2 hour. I might put some music on. Anything to put London in a better mood. I know. I didn't even have sound at the very beginning. It was very, that's even troubling. I should put some music on, but it's been nice just to talk. I appreciate you guys being here. And, I don't know what questions you guys have, because it's, I just don't want to, I guess I feel like it's easy for us to say, we were right on, we nailed, this and that. It's just, because if you're not in something that's just, immeasurably going up to the roof, you start saying, well, that's fine. You hit your technical indicators, but, we need to make some money, right? Dogecoin has been a 10X twice this year. So we can just remind each other that the people who've been patient on Doge or been patient on even Bitcoin or whatever it is and deployed a strategy, those are the ones that wind up making money, right? Just deploy a strategy and relax and learn along the way, and we'll try and enjoy things along the way. It should be, there's a lot of different, I don't know if it's just the retracement. I don't know what you guys feel, or people are, I don't know what it is, but between the apes, the apes, they don't want you to sell anything. They get a little angry. Between the it's like we have armies. We have you have to admit, we have the apes for the AMC. They don't want you to sell anything. They get angry at you. Then it's like they will not let you engage in profit. I'm like, dude, like, what's your problem, dude? Like, yeah, I get it, but like, why don't you take your profit? Why don't you put the entirety of your profit in AMC? I'm just like, check it. Like, why don't you take the entirety of your profit, okay, and why don't you re-inject it at another level and have more of an impact and more of a share, interest? Why don't you have more of a share interest? Why don't you buy more shares? You love it that much, you won't even buy more shares of it? So I don't get the whole mentality of, aggressive towards anyone who says, what, you want to sell here? Right where, essentially, up in this area, we literally said, okay, there it is, bam, targeted strike. There you go, cut it loose. You can or not advice to you. It was just indicated that was the strike. So you come back up on 3, and you're going to re-enter, and you're going to have more shares of AMC. Oh, but you're in favor of it just holding it, right? I don't know. I don't know who those guys were. But I don't want them to call themselves, I don't know what the phraseology is, but I won't hate on any one group. It's a free market. If I want to move in the market, I'm going to move in the market. I'm not going to let anybody else tell me I can't or I can, or in terms of that, I'm not like a defiant soul. But it's like, if it makes, I'm not going to listen to a group, just so we can, I don't know, experience holding amidst a 40% or 50% drop. I have a lot of people that get upset at things like that, and they come and talk to me, or they'll talk to you and like, well, I'm stuck in this one holding or something. So. Let's see. Ocean's kind of interesting because it hasn't performed in line with the fulfillment of its channel either. Very interesting. I'm going to change the color on Ocean to reflect kind of what we have going on, because one has not done that as well, right? Yeah, one hasn't done that either. So that's interesting to me that Ocean is kind of aligned with one, because Ocean's had some positive price action on it. It's been popping up here and there. It's been interesting. All right, so a lot have been. We'll see if we get into one of these elements with Bitcoin kind of taking off separate and apart from the rest of the coins, right? It's had that dynamic to it, and it kind of indicates that they're trying to rebuild. Potentially, it feels like they're trying to rebuild the market, or they're kind of trying to, there may be some different dynamics. There clearly are, because typically if Bitcoin's positively indicated, and we've had that over the last week or so, where we have not had the the degree of correlation that we've been looking for, where positive movement equals positive, in Bitcoin equals positive movement in the overall market. So the fact that we have found on top of that, I would say a list here of individual from TFUEL to ABBC to Quick to Leo to Adele. I just say, and Adele's probably off the map. But to the fact that we found a few Woo, KSM, Alpha, just Cell. The fact that we have found those that are not correlated right now is of interest to me, because Bitcoin could drop right now. It could drop right now, being at the top of its channel, and I would want to know which specific financial concerns stood to gain the most based upon, kind of where they're at individually and just the general idea of kind of a variable degree of, what would you say, just correlative or negatively correlated, kind of return expectation. So that's nice. Like, we move one direction, it's going to move how much the other direction, right? Or Bitcoin moves one direction down, and then we're going to measure up through the coins we have, which are negatively correlated, meaning when Bitcoin goes down, we serve a chance, we serve a higher chance, or we hold a higher chance of going up in general based upon most recent pricing action. Okay, I've done the diligence on some of these. On Saturday, went through about quite a few of them, and found some of these, and we identified some hedge correlatives, maybe lightly involved right now. Maybe if Bitcoin does decide to go down, maybe more heavily involved, right? Maybe with orders waiting at some of these levels to get picked up, so that we can experience like kind of a nice hedge against the market activity going on in Bitcoin. Right? Bingo, right? That's what we'd like to be able to achieve. And we don't necessarily have to execute that, but we can learn through that. We can definitely say, okay, great, I appreciate that, because it's not that even needs to occur, but that strategy is set up in place just with a little bit of pepper on top of a different, on something else that's not correlated, right? It's negatively correlated. It is correlated, but it's negatively correlated, right? Not positively correlated. So meaning it's going to move in opposite directions, potentially. So we might want to achieve that in a few different concerns, right? A few different financial concerns. Like on Saturday, doing that, we've picked up on and gotten to know a few different financial concerns that we're able to potentially capitalize on this. If this wants to move down, right? If it's going to move up, no problem. Hey, if it moves up, we're ready. We have kind of a green zone to maybe get into, maybe more heavily or not, depending on however you want to move around your own money. But the idea would be maybe there's a real green zone that you could launch into somewhere in here, right? On a breakout, if you wanted to play a breakout, maybe you've been holding this the entire time, but maybe you hold a percentage here. Maybe you dropped off right here and said, that's fine, I've reached my threshold. I'll engage in the next trade. Like, wherever that next trade is. Where's your green zone? Maybe it's just right there, and that's your trade. Maybe your green zone, you said, yeah, London, I think that this is the hot zone. It's based on my technicals, this has the highest degree of probability of working out. Okay, cool. How'd you get there? What'd you do? What were the analytics that you looked at? Not just a hodgepodge of a guess or no, these are, because I think it's going to complete, it has a habit of completing multiple bull flags up along the way. And I've noticed, I've done the analytics, and between the second and third one is the most consistent on the entirety of the move here, right? Between the second and third. That move between the second and third is the most consistent based on all the, whatever you want to say. I just completely said that randomly. But it's going to be based on some sort of correlatives, right? Some sort of analysis. And the more you can do that analysis on your own, the more, the better equipped you are to really succeed in this industry. And it's by booking positive trades. Your goal here is to make cash. If it goes down, can we get the negative correlation on TFUEL? I sure hope so. Like, how deep is, and when I bring that up on TFUEL, possibility of a hedge, possibility of this falling out, and possibility of picking up down deeply into TFUEL at a double, triple down, not only on the interim frequency or the micro frequency, but also on the macro. You guys have to know. Yeah, I mean, when I do like 6 hours of work on a Saturday, and I go through all everything else, I'm looking for something in line with that, right? I mean, something in line with something heavyweight enough to where I can, we can literally look at it and be like, all right, that's a heavy hitting move, that's a heavyweight move. We got to be able to make those kind of determinations, right? Now we have a group. There's a bunch of them that we could make that move on. I like the story of TFUEL the best in terms of the fundamentals, the management team, the dev group, and the use case, the utility. I just do. Now, that could play to my disadvantage if I want to become over-involved in it too much, if I, mentally or emotionally. I have to divorce myself from that. But in terms of price action, it has the best profile as well. And we have a few different ones with kind of that level of price action, right? So that is the what would I say? That is the that's the general approach. And yeah, it's not real standard, right? It's not what everyone's going to do on a Saturday is look for hedge opportunities, right? Yeah, it's what we choose to do. We have a lot of professionals in the VIP, et cetera, and so that's I've been facilitating in the back rooms kind of the different things as people become interested in engaging in something like that, and I can talk about it now because they've already discussed the strategy and everything else like that. And it's something that can be discussed. There's nothing wrong with it, right? It's kind of there's nothing hidden about the fact that we may discuss. I've been discussing hedge theory on since Harmony One, since the channel started earlier this year, having a lot of success, hitting targets every day. Right, just no problem. Having people, execute positive trades. Now we have a group of people that are executing positive trades, and it's nice to see that. So, yeah, that's hugely exciting that you guys are plugged into something like the idea of a hedge, or at least a risk diversification, or diversification. I would say diversification away from risk, right? Because a real diversification is going to bring you away from risk. Right, so if you have two things that are both going to move the same direction at the same time, then you are not diversified. That's not a move towards diversification and away from risk. That's probably a move towards, I'd say, or away from diversification and towards a complication of your risk. Right, so we want your risk to go down when we diversify, and we do that by having negatively correlated assets, meaning they're going to move in opposite directions, right? Because if everything is moving in the same direction and you just pick up another asset that's moving in the same direction, the theory would go, the textbooks, if you study this stuff in college or took a business class or econ class, the theory is going to be that risk is just going to be compounded or further, complicated and moving in the same direction, right? To some extent. We want it moving in the opposite direction, and we want to time it. Essentially, we'd like to time it, and this is where the real light bulb goes off in the head. If we can time it with the degrees or the movements in the correlation to maximize our gains, most likely based upon like the timing of events, like a specific thing would happen where we would run into like Bitcoin reaching kind of maybe a threshold. We can kind of we can enter into it not too heavily with a timing event like, well, it's at kind of the top of its channel. If it does go down, well, hey, this may be a great time to have picked up something in terms of like TFUEL or something else, just kind of like an uppercut in the fight, right? It's like, the whole thing, it's like you just imagine just, you picking up those orders and just bam, just, straight up, just an uppercut. I think of that just a knock, bam, straight through the chin of the market and just bam, you're sailing, you're on the upside, right? That's possible. So it's not easy to formulate those types of strategies. It takes a lot of work, right? It does, and but it's fun. And for the people who understand it, there's just no other way you would want to run your account. And if you have people that you're around that are learning, I mean, absolutely, or that are willing to work that hard, that's when things just become kind of, essentially they become kind of serious to the tune that, or to the degree that you're able to appreciate the sophistication of that level of understanding and that degree of strategy. That's when it becomes interesting, because you have a whole group that is literally that being capable of being that strategic, and that's beautiful. That's like a trading floor, literally, guys. That's like a trading floor. If you can comprehend what I'm dishing out here in terms of strategy, yeah, what I'm formulating and essentially the ideological kind of strategy here. If you can really put that together, and if you can comprehend that and just grab onto it, like, be a diamond hand with that, period. Like, don't ever let that go. If you're connecting with this mentally and you can actually charge up and be like, no, that's true. Don't ever let this stuff go, Because this stuff, if you get this approach down, and it may not be that you have to, who wants to work 6 hours on a Saturday? I mean, I'm doing it for you guys, so it's not. I don't feel like I'm working, but it is something where there are going to be some times where it's indicated, just times where it's indicated. Now, and other times it won't be indicated, but you'll get the feeling is like, well, now this is the time for me to do this, right? And you'll think back on kind of a circumstance like this where we've done some homework ahead of time to maybe set up a hedge, to set up something else, and maybe an opportune moment with some other kind of all the way through the differences of I'd say the market, difference of the exchange, opening up new coins also to people. You guys know that was kind of instrumental in terms of what we were able to do. People have access to more investments right now, which is nice. As things may go up or they may go down. I mean, it's just it's or may further consolidate. We have that. We just have that, and that's nice. That's a good dynamic. So things are developing well amongst the group. I just have to say that it's very nice that we're having this discussion, that we're able to synthesize this information, and that you now have more exchange possibilities. You have more investment opportunities, and you're sharing those with me. I'm sharing, those with you. It's just a good group dynamic. So I really appreciate you guys understanding the dynamics of what's going on right now and the how we're prepared for the upside. We talked about kind of maybe a green zone. And I know that you guys will do your own. You're there enough to do your own diagnostics and be like, yeah, this is kind of maybe the whole thing's your green zone. Maybe it's not. Maybe you certainly don't want to get it wrong, right? But if you do, there's probably some tolerance in there. You're not going to go too heavy, right? If you have any questions in terms of the entirety of that, it's kind of like the greater degree of doubt you're going to fall back on your foundation is like, always preserve my cash on the downside. That's right? Always having that backup resource capital. Whether or not it's, my resource capital is $500, but I'm going to make 50 positive trades in the next 6 months. Like, wow. If someone told me that, I'd be like, you got to be kidding me. You have resource capital of $500. That's going to be your stash, and you're going to make 50 positive trades in 6 months? Dude, you're going to be good. Can you imagine? You would know that guy's going to be good, huh? Yeah. At some point, you'd be like, he's probably going to be pretty good if he wants to make 50 positive trades in the next 6 months. Now, that's not the majority of the people that are in VIP or anything else like that, but it definitely has that componentry to it, right? To where, people are just like, I'm not worried about the money right now. I want to book positive trades, because you become a force to be reckoned with. If you can understand like hedge theory, the way we set it up on the potential breakdown of Bitcoin with the residual of the market, with TFUEL potentially going back up as it's shown a new potential recent interim high, with doing that structured out, with peppering in TFUEL, with the understanding that yes, if it does even go down or wherever we're at, it's just kind of like a good learning ground right now. You could even go, like you might go heavier into this green area right here, right? Depending on where it was at and what you felt your level of your confidence, what confidence interval are you at? What's your risk exposure? You may decide you have a different risk exposure on TFUEL, right? But you may be able to make those calls a little bit more aggressively, but you're still always going to be at the point where you can enjoy it. For the guys who really do it, you're going to be at a level where you can enjoy it. And it's either going to be with an absolute expression, like the guy who goes and he books 50 trades in the next 6 months. He's going to be enjoying it because he's going to be really good at it. He's going to absolutely know what he's doing. He's going to understand pricing. He's going to understand like what it feels like to be in a trade. It's no big deal. This is just how it works. So this trade's just kind of it's going through. It's just a tremor. It's not really a fallout crack in the foundation of the earth. This is just a tremor. We have these all the time. Maybe the market maker blew underneath them a little bit and this and that. We have these all the time. This is just a tremor. This is no problem. Smooth, just driving the car, sitting there on the couch, whatever he's doing, right? That's how you get with the trades, and you understand kind of the the operating environment you're in. You understand how price action works, right? Yeah, so that's what he'll pick up on or she'll pick up on in the next 6 months. And she says, yes, I'm gonna book 50 positive trades. So that's a good story. So as we talk about today is, are you going to take profits or are you going to buy more, right? Well, it looks like we're I guess in the process of kind of doing both, right? We have it set up to, essentially we always have it set up to buy more, don't we? At different lower levels, we always have it set up to buy more. We're never fully exposed, right? Now you would say, well, what about buying more right now? You could maybe adjust a little bit if you had the understanding and the variability, the variable, however you calculated. If you were to calculate, really technically calculate it out, and you knew, right, that there was a higher degree of probability on something, you may say, well, I normally go like 3x on these. Like, say a pattern breakout. Normally I go double down. Sometimes I go like on a pattern breakout. If I have like a bull flag, I'll go like 3 up. Like it says on top, it says double down, triple up, right? So normally I'll go like triple up, whatever is like normal. I'll throw triple up. I may play 3 or 4 of them at a time. It's just kind of, it's what I choose to do. But it's still like with heavy cash, heavy multiples of that in reserve. I mean, otherwise you're not gonna, guys. It's just, it's not, and even then, I'm gonna say, even with heavy cash reserves, not just throwing the money around, you still only engage in the trades that are highly indicated, the highest degree, the highest probability of trade. Because we'll get involved in some. Everyone wants to play one, and everyone wants to do a bull flag, but we know the highest degree of probability are the ones that with breakout, reconfirmation, using the former resistance as support, and really nice momentum to the upside, right? And we kind of have a feeling, it's like, well, amidst retracements, they don't want to always work, right? We've been surprised a few times with, with like a move on Bitcoin or Dogecoin. Dogecoin, we precipitated, we anticipated that breakout, which was on the Coinbase. You guys remember that? That was sweet. That was nice work by all you guys that were in, because you got to say, we spent a lot of time on Dogecoin, did we? Yeah, we did. Right before Coinbase said, oh, by the way, we're going to do this. That was sweet, right? That was just sweet, because we decided to literally just hammer through. I was like, why are you on? And no one could stand it. I'm like, well, we got to do it, right? We got to do this, right? So we did that, and I just felt like it was indicated. So, and it was indicated, and then they came out with the news on Coinbase, and it was a nice move, right? So we had a great move on that, but it was something that, people were like, God, you spent 6.5 hours on Dogecoin? Like, no one should talk that much about Dogecoin, unless I have 100 VIP members and we're trying to really get the point across. Guys, megaphone style, like it seems like it's indicated. Sometimes I'll make a video about something. We'll do something else. It's like, go to the moon, just do it. Tell everybody to go to the moon. But sometimes it goes 5%, 2%, and some of you may only want 5 or 2%. This was a nice move, though. After spending the entirety of this time, like really accumulating, right? So that was a nice move. We'd like to make another move like that, but we're not sitting here spending 5 or 6 hours. We have said like the 1, the 2, or the 3. It's already gone up to the 1 from this area. It's gone from the to the 2 from this area. We'd like it to go to the 3. Now it may need to go from this area, right? Now on the candlesticks, it's gone from that area multiple times. Okay, so with a kind of a mid-level measured move in the middle. So that's just what that is. That's the history we kind of bring to the table. So we're turning into a pretty sophisticated little group. That's really exciting, and I appreciate you guys being there for that. Good job. So let's see. It's about 6:10. What I'm going to do is probably dig into some charts, go through some information. I appreciate you guys being here, and I'll probably go through some information and just try and wind into some different aspects of kind of the correlatives that I've been talking about. In terms of taking profits, if you don't pay yourself, in the market, nobody else is going to typically. So take care of that as you see fit, depending upon your budget and your threshold. Like, you got some different thresholds that you're looking at in terms of your own personal finances. I don't get too involved in that. For the formal disclaimer, none of this is financial advice, and you guys take your own profits when you choose to, and you definitely you invest when you want to. And in terms of investing more, it's always a good idea to buy low and sell high. I definitely know that's a great equation. One of the primary equations for for profits. So you guys know that's required, and a lot of good work is going on by you guys in terms of in terms of the studies you're doing, everything else. That's really nice to see, and just always treat each other with a level of respect and kindness. I would try and say that. Try and definitely treat each other with a level of respect and kindness, because that's why we put the whole group together. So the more you guys can do that, the more it's yeah, the more it's appreciated by everybody. So we do that by definitely valuing who people are and making, kind of appropriate, indications, comments, things like that at all times, really at all times. And we really don't have much tolerance for any time that it's not like that. So, yeah, we appreciate you guys being who you are. And that's just all I say from my end. And I'm working hard to make sure things do continue to become interesting. I hope that the hedge theory on TFUEL is of interest, the pepper into that. I know a lot of you have traded Bitcoin. A lot of you are in Dogecoin. A lot of you have made some cash on Matic here over the last several days. That's been nice to see. And yeah, no FOMO. Just don't roll out and just chase big numbers. That could be real dangerous. You guys know that can be very dangerous. AMP is up on the day. That's nice. So if you did see that, and when I posted it, you probably gotten in and made some money. So good job on that. AMC, of course, was big move, but again, it was a good move for the market. So great on that. So you guys take care of yourself. This is London with the Crypto Kingdom. We will be back. I may do a exclusive video for the VIP and get that out to you guys, so that you don't have to worry about some specifics. Maybe I'll get you some specifics. Appreciate everything. You guys have a great day. Take care of yourself, and remember to eat well, sleep well. And what is the other thing that we always say? Yes, remember to invest in those relationships that you knew were important before you started investing. So you're welcome, Andrew. Thank you.